to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And we are also joined again by Lord Manny Hayes.
Hey.
Oh ho, we did this wrong.
I mean,
you know.
The thing about it is that...
You were supposed to throw it to Manny. I jumped in too fast. You were supposed to throw it to Manny, and then I was going to come in last because, and the grand finale it's the end of the sentence.
So Marcus,
I think we should redo this.
No, let me try to understand this right, Marcus, because, it's always been just you and I on this show. And, since we've added Manny, are you trying to give Manny top billing over you in this situation?
No. See,
he's the grand finale, so he has to be the end. That's where he's getting.
So, okay.
And then what you also don't understand is have you ever watched like a movie and TV show? Let's go with Family Matters for us. We all know that at one point Carl Winslow had top billing. I think he kept top billing the entire way. Urkel didn't get top billing, but it always ended with
Thelma Hopkins. Thelma Hopkins. That's what you're waiting for.
Rachel. That's what I want. I want the end. Marcus the grand finale as Marcus the grand finale.
All right, so we say hello, welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I'm Eric.
It's me.
Okay, take number 3 on live. Okay. I'm glad we can have some happiness right now. Welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale. Yeah, we did it.
Okay, so
we nearly did it. You paused.
I did it on one take.
I mean, it is how it happens.
It's the best we can do.
I hope the audio online is going well. Who knows?
Anybody in there?
No,
we got one, right?
I have no comments. I have no reaction. So, Marcus, we're just recording the show. I mean, it's... Oh, so you're not even... I don't even know what Marcus is using. He has his earbuds in, but I think he's talking in the microphone. You got a lot going on. Well,
this is a vanity thing right here. This is how I have this going. So last week when I watched the video, I saw that there's a little bit of like space in my background that it looked white and it didn't fix in between the earphones. So I was like, I have earbuds and I could just have that and I won't have that white spot around my head that blocks it. So it's no real reason other than cosmetic.
I hate to let you know, Marcus, the glow is still there. Like
No, but it's like over my head.
Yeah, no, every time you touch your head, like you it's like you're...
Yeah, I don't plan on touching my head for the remainder of the show.
Okay.
I plan on not moving for the rest of the show. You're just going to see me... Oh, damn it. You're just going to see me like this.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what I look like. I'm not actually looking at myself.
With that being said, I mean, we have to start with the bad before we get to the good. And this week was a very difficult week for the professional wrestling community because the story broke that I think caught everybody off by surprise. It was the passing of one half of the WWE tag team known as Crime Time. Shad Gaspar was caught up in a situation at Venice Beach where he and his son got caught up in the tide. In the process of being rescued, Shad Gaspar told the lifeguard to take his son to safety, and according to the lifeguard, by the time he got back, Mr. Gaspar was taken up by a wave, and his body was later recovered the next day, washed ashore because he was deceased. The thing that was very sad about this situation, I think, ever since Manny's been on the show, he's almost every week made a Crime Time reference, especially when we're talking about the Street Profits. So, you could say that Shad's name was very synonymous with this. And one thing I can say I learned from the process is that he was respected by his peers. Marcus, how did you feel when the news broke about his passing?
Man, I just thought it was a bad situation overall. Just like, you're just out with your kids at the beach and then, the current or the giant wave takes you away and, trying to save you. It's just a bad situation. Felt horrible. He was still young. Seemed like he was getting into doing more acting things and his career was just beginning in that front. It's just a very upsetting situation.
Manny, I'm going to throw it to you in this situation. How did it hit you? I mean, you bring Crime Time up almost every week.
I feel like there's a massive staple in my what was it, my early 20s going as a wrestling fan, and it's just like they played an important role. As much as they were a stereotype, they played a massive role in what being a colored person in wrestling is now.
I can understand that in so many ways, and it's funny because when you look at the segment that we got this week on Raw, where it was the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits, if you go back to 20 years ago, it was Crime Time and Deuce and Domino, and
Hold on. 20 years ago is way too far.
Well, maybe 15 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, Marcus, but it was a while back.
I was going like, whoa.
Let me
about maybe 10 years ago, Eric.
Let me go 12. Then. Let me split the baby. But like the one thing that I can say that I took from him, like he went out like a hero. I mean, I think I don't have kids, and I would think that any parent would sacrifice their own life if it meant that their child got to live. So, I mean, my condolences. I'm assuming our condolences go out to the Gaspar family, and rest in paradise.
You're not gonna send him like the donation thing, where you can buy like some merch and it goes to his family. I think they got over $40,000 in money for the family and stuff like that. I don't do the research, so I don't have the links.
I don't have the links,
and I can't move. I can't move.
But maybe I can find the links. But in another sad story, and I can honestly say I'm not very familiar with this individual, but another wrestler died, and she was only 22 years of age. She wrestled in Stardom. Her name was Hana Kimura, and things about her death are kind of shaky because some people, they haven't confirmed it, but it may be a suicide, and mainly due to cyberbullying on social media, where I guess the internet wrestling community, I don't know what she did, but they bullied her. Then she posted pictures of, I guess, her wrists being sliced, and then I guess she kind of wrote like a suicide note or something like that. It just was like, it struck me because, like, people on the internet, we've learned, because we've all been caught up in conversations on the web, they can be mean, but at the same time, is it worth being mean to drive somebody to take their own life? Based on Marcus and Manny's confused face, they probably have no idea about this story because
no, I do.
Oh, okay.
I read the headline. I just feel like it's sad that like the community has to be that way. Like there's one thing critiquing and then there's being a dickhead about it.
Yeah, I mean, and especially when it comes down to the fact that we do this show, and yes, I am not being paid to criticize what AEW, what WWE does, but I still have an opinion. I'm not trying to be malicious about it. I'm just trying to make it entertaining and if it meant it was hurting people's feelings, I would never want that to happen. Marcus, is there anything you want to speak on it before we start pretty much criticizing the product that we saw this week?
Well, wrestling fans ain't shit. And it's been that way.
Wow.
It's been that way. It's been that way for a while now. And due to the internet era or where we are right now, it seems to just be getting worse. And this may just be in all of entertainment. No matter what people do, people seem to go out their way to try to push somebody over that edge to just go out the way. Even if people don't do anything. I don't know this lady, this wrestler. I never seen her work before, but I can already tell when they talk about cyberbullying stuff. I was like, the wrestling fans got to it. It's no different from when like the Star Wars fans get to people, or any of these niche audience people who's like, oh, you're not one of us, or you're not that good, or whatever the case may be. It's just it's a shame that there's so many people in the wrestling community that are so, I won't say negative toward anybody. It's kind of what Ronda Rousey was saying. Fuck these fans, man, because that's kind of what she was going against when she was wrestling in her time. Just people going like, oh, you suck, you need to work on this, you need to do that. And even if you're doing good, like let's say if you're Charlotte Flair, people are all over like, oh, she's just there because of her daddy fucking her and all that. And it's like, it doesn't matter who you are. Wrestling fans go at you no matter what. Whether you're Roman Reigns or you're this 22-year-old wrestler whose name I forgot right now.
Marcus, you brought up a point, and like I said, our condolences goes out to the why did I scroll it down? The Kimura family in this situation. But as they say, the show will go on. And Marcus, you brought up a thing because it's something that struck me this week. As you know, as we were watching wrestling this week, Charlotte Flair appeared on 3 different WWE programming, and surprisingly, everywhere I went, everyone says, "Oh, this bitch makes me want to turn. I can't believe she's on this channel. Why she's getting so much hype?" Marcus, what is the hatred of Charlotte in this situation? Why do people hate her? Is it just because she's Ric Flair's daughter?
I think it's just a combination. For me, it seems like it reminds me of LeBron hate. Not like she's like the LeBron James of wrestling or anything. It's just that the fact that it's blind hate and it seems like it's undescribed. Like it's just people just hate her. I don't know. It's just I feel like she does good work in the ring, on the mic, outside the ring. She doesn't offend me when she's on 3 shows. Hell, people get mad at Brock Lesnar for showing up for 1 show a week. She should be getting credit for wrestling 3 times in a week against 3 different opponents or doing 3 different programs or whatnot. I don't know. I have no hate. Maybe because she won the title a bunch of times, but I don't honestly care about who holds the title or how many times they got it. It's a wrestling show.
Manny, do you share the same view that Marcus has in the Charlotte argument?
I think like when you look at it now, like in this period, I feel like it's more because she's overexposed now. So I feel like as them producing her, they're putting her at the forefront for critique because she's being overexposed. So first she was only on 2 shows, being Raw and NXT. Now they're throwing her for the last 2 weeks. She's been on all 3. I think they're just overexposing her, making her more of a target. But from what I've watched in the last, let's say, month, I've never had that go, oh, it's Charlotte Flair. Because for me, what I'm seeing from Charlotte Flair is a lot what I got from John Cena when he was the US champion, where it was he is actually putting over other people. Even though he was winning, you got to see the likes of KO, Sami Zayn, and a few others have the really good matches. And you're getting that with Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, people that you wouldn't necessarily have the time in wrestling on these shows. So like I feel like it's unjust just because what she has to face, just because she's Ric Flair's daughter, does not mean if she was shit, I would get it. Like, do you know what I mean? But she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this was an Alexa Bliss on every show wrestling matches, and you'd be like, man, she's really having these bad matches, or Mandy Rose having a match on every show.
Don't you talk about Sweet Mandy
you'd be like,
right
man,
now.
this is trash. Huh?
I said, don't talk about Sweet Mandy like that, man.
I'm just saying, Sweet Mandy Rose, who they replaced Tucker Knight with someone younger and prettier. By the way. Oh, if it was Mandy Rose or something like that, or even Carmella, you'd be like, man, they're really forcing her down. This is really bad. This is not the right decision. I don't feel like that's the case here. It's just more like she's just working. It's just not like I have no problem with what she's doing.
Like for me, when I really come down to it, and I just think about it, and I'm like, is it just people are envious of her? And the thing about it, normally you would think that this type of criticism would come from her peers. I have never heard anybody actually say anything bad about Charlotte, about not putting anybody over. Like, it just like she shows up to work. And as Manny said, it's like she is in that John Cena role where you may not like her, but Ruby Riott being in the ring with Charlotte enhances her character. Liv Morgan promo this week was pretty much, I think she was calling Charlotte her mama. I'm not really sure what she was talking about, but
she was saying she was like her mama.
Yeah, but I mean,
that she's fighting out the garbage can and coming out to gonna make something for herself.
But
she basically said her mom had grit.
Yeah, but it gave her something to talk about. But Manny, thank you for another great segue because we're talking about grit. And too bad grit does not turn into the greatest wrestling match ever because Monday Night Raw started off the way that Monday Night Raw ended with Edge and Orton in the ring. And pretty much Randy needed to know, was Edge going to wrestle him at Backlash? And Marcus, we got that answer. Manny, we got that answer. Manny, how do you feel about being able to witness what is being billed as the greatest wrestling match ever?
I feel this is a farce, mainly because mainly because you had to wait a week for Edge just to go, I accept. and now they're using the soundtrack to The Greatest Showman for this, for Backlash, which doesn't go. Let's get that straight. It just doesn't go. The Greatest Showman was something wholesome. Backlash is about something brutal.
Well,
go ahead, Marcus.
Didn't they beat those circus animals? I'm just saying. Fine, was nothing but Vince McMahon back in the day. But what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, the number one thing I took from this was one. I really enjoyed Randy Orton telling him, just come on, because her ass was going in full wrestling promo of like, 15 years of this, and try about this, and Randy Orton just said, can you shut up and answer yes or no? I mean, I waited a week. And I felt like the number one thing that was missing was Charlie Caruso, because I felt like she interrupted in the wrong week. If she came into this week and said, gentlemen, this will be the greatest wrestling match of all time, it would have made more sense than last week or the previous week when they haven't decided this match was going to happen as this being the greatest wrestling match of all time. But I feel like Charlie should have came out again and had to say, guys, this is the greatest wrestling match of all time.
But Manny, Marcus and I had multiple conversations, and you weren't privy to these conversations, but Marcus and I felt that this has made Backlash become the biggest pay-per-view of the year, because it's not, because every match that is taking place on this Backlash show has the potential to be the greatest wrestling match ever. For example, Marcus and I were watching SmackDown.
You can't. Well, Backlash technically hasn't been booked yet. This is our own fantasy booking.
But this is our booking. So first match we figured we might get on Backlash would be Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio, which could be the greatest wrestling match ever. Then on the SmackDown side for the IC title, you have possibly in the brackets AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, which could also be the greatest match ever. Then you
wrestling match.
There's so many matches. Oh, you have MVP versus McIntyre. Greatest match ever.
MVP is not wrestling McIntyre.
Huh?
It is Bobby Lashley.
That is right.
How did you get MVP?
Because you picked the wrong black person, sir.
Yeah, how you confuse your black people?
Well, because I was looking at my notes and I'm trying to collect my thoughts where I'm going to move to next.
You're like Ezekiel Jackson is going to wrestle.
Man, where is Big Zeke at? I have no idea.
He was at the Shad. When they had a gathering, he was with the Shad thing.
I know. I'm pretty sure he was, because, we all know each other. So, after they agreed to the greatest wrestling match, Seth Rollins came out, and Seth Rollins was in a suit. I appreciate him being in a suit. And pretty much, he came out there, and he was a delusional heel. He is still evil. He justified his actions. He said, and I quote, that Rey Mysterio, this was a blessing in disguise. And you were just a sacrifice to help me achieve what I need to achieve in the WWE. Marcus,
what's he trying to achieve?
I don't know, but that is true villainy. Marcus, did you like this segment of Seth?
I did. I feel like did we skip over a segment?
No. It went straight into that.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And then on top of that, Marcus, remember for time,
I think there's a wrestling match in between it.
Marcus, for time's sake, we might skip some things that are not important. And if you can't remember if we skipped something or not, it wasn't important, sir.
How dare you? How effing dare you?
Come on, Stephen A. Come on, Stephen A.
I enjoyed his promo. It was delusional heel, and I feel like as a delusional heel cult leader, he's the best delusional heel cult leader in the game right now.
That's all you had.
His only competition is Brody Lee. What do you want me to say? He had a nice suit.
I thought you.
Oh, he wore a leather glove. Murphy's still with him. What you got? What do you want me to say?
Manny, do you have anything to add that Marcus didn't add?
I'm phoning it in.
You just trying to you just think about eating barbecue, sir. That's all it is.
Well, Dimples came out.
Dimples?
Yeah, Carrillo came out and he got the business from Murphy, and then Aleister Black made the save.
Well, here's my thing. Humberto was fake mad. Because if you come out, if your mentor, the guy that inspired you to be the man you are today, you come out there with your stupid dimples and you walk up to Seth Rollins and you go, hey, I don't like the business you did last week to Rey Mysterio. It should be beat down on sight. Instead, he settled for a match with Buddy Murphy, again, as I like to imply to when Aleister Black attacked Buddy Murphy last week, who ain't even did nothing. Buddy, if I'm Buddy, I'm looking at Steph. Hey, man, I can't be doing double duty like this. Steph had no intention of hiring more. Maybe in the back, they had a discussion of we need to hire more people since the AOP is out because I can't wrestle 2 matches a night. But at this point, I feel like Steph overstepped his bounds, and Herberto was fake mad about Rey Mysterio. He just wanted to get into the pay window. I'm just saying, he wasn't mad.
Well, Manny, thank you for poking the bear and getting a more illicit response from Marcus. But Manny, what do you have to say about this whole entire situation?
My bear
I got more coming afterwards, but I feel like Humberto came out. I think Marcus, what did you say he looked like? He looked like Tito Santana.
Oh yeah, he did look like Tito Santana tonight. The Matador.
I had notes earlier, but then I gave up because there was just too much to write on Raw. That it looked like he skinned Donatello and then made wrestling good.
Wow. Rest in peace.
I wonder how much that'd be worth. It's Ninja Turtle skin, homie. It's Ninja Turtle skin.
I have been called.
How much you think this is? This ain't no regular leather. It's Ninja Turtle skin. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle suit. Taste that. You still feel the ooze leaking from that leg. Come on.
I have been called Donatello within the last 2 weeks because of my purple face mask, but we don't need to go there. So
you have a purple face mask?
Yeah, one of my masks is purple. You didn't see my Instagram story post where I had my purple mask on.
No, I don't pay attention to you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know who you're paying attention to. Maybe now, I'm not going to even go there. I'm trying to keep a respectable show because we live.
No, you already went there. We live. Let's see it. Let's hear it out, motherfucker.
No, because you know what, Marcus? I'm not MVP. I'm not Montel Vontavious Porter trying to put everybody's business out there like he did with Lashley on Monday Night Raw when he said that him and Bobby weren't doing business because Bobby was too busy busy with clowns like R-Truth and Lana. I felt MVP was a little bitter that he didn't get no deals done, and Marcus.
This was a negotiation tactic.
It was. Clearly it worked.
Well, I mean, when you call somebody out on TV, that means they need to do something to counteract that so the people don't think different of them. So this was a negotiation tactic. MVP is a very smart, very calculated businessman. I would have did the exact same thing.
Manny, did you like MVP calling out Lashley for not wanting to do business with him?
Yeah. Did you not see how angry Lashley got the moment he mentioned that stuff? Yeah. You see Lashley shoot him a look like, the fuck you talking about, bitch?
Yeah, it was immediate.
Literally, it was, motherfucker, why you putting my business out there? You know I'm having trouble with that white woman. I mean, that's what it was. Because later on, when Bobby and MVP are at ringside, Lana's in the back tearing stuff up. And I'm just like, where was she at? It's this week in wrestling had me with so many questions of where people were at when these things went down.
Lana was probably on Instagram doing something.
Probably doing her.
Lana she has her own business, okay?
Her TikToks.
She doesn't just handle Bobby's business. She has to handle the brand, Eric, the brand. And I think she's somehow still in charge of Rusev Life too. So she's in charge of the brand. MVP is a snake in the grass for stealing her client and husband and man.
Marcus, she's booking him in matches against R-Truth and R-Truth's alter ego, Pretty Ricky. I'm sorry. You should have been fired a long time ago if these are the type of matches that you're giving an impressive specimen like Bobby Lashley to face.
You can't fire your wife. She's going to take half.
He had a prenup. Bobby knew better.
Bobby didn't get no prenup.
I don't think Bobby knew better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Eric, he hasn't had a title shot in 13 years. He ain't smart enough to get a prenup.
But he's been champions in other companies, Marcus. He knows what he is doing. He knows. Bobby knows best. But now that he has MVP to guide him.
That's Kristen Marshall.
Wow. Sir, have some decorum, please. Have some decorum.
Oh, the decorum went out the window a long time ago.
If I had a mute button, I would
get a water bottle.
I would mute you. Oh, so now you're trying to act like you're a health nut because before we started going live, you were drinking a 7-Up. You were drinking the devil's sugar nectar.
That was 7-Up. You thought that was 7-Up. That was vodka soda.
Whatever. With that being said, since Marcus brought up vodka, when you have alcohol around, that means there's only a celebration. So, speaking of celebrations, Kairi Sane threw a celebration worthy of a champion for Asuka. And the thing that I took away from this whole celebration was that Kairi, I believe, speaks better English than Asuka. I'm not 100% sure, but I knew exactly what Kairi was saying, and I thought what Kairi did was very nice for her, but at the same time, I thought she was going to turn on Asuka and try to take the title. But that did not happen because the most dangerous woman in wrestling, Nia Jax, ruined the celebration.
This got me angry, Eric. This got me angry, Eric.
Marcus, Manny is angry, so I'm going to go to Manny first because he's angry. We don't want an angry Manny.
So when she pulled out the recorder, that was the happiest I've been in the lockdown period. Happiest I've been. It brought me back to times Edge and Christian playing the Benoit theme on a kazoo. It was the happiest time I've been in wrestling. And then this big Donkey Kong bitch come out and ruin the party. And then what she do? She got drop kicked onto the outside like she always does. And then that put her out.
That's it. That's all it takes, to be honest. She didn't get her comeuppance. I want to back to the recorder fact. Whenever I see somebody break out the recorder, it takes me back to middle school or before, or whenever I had a music class, whenever they break out the recorder, it's like, you're going to learn an instrument. It's the recorder. And you learn like one song and you never use that shit again.
Mary have a little lamb, man. Mary have a little lamb. That Marcus.
Kairi Sane report. Her English was amazing, and Kairi Sane is the best speaking Japanese woman in the game, or English speaking Japanese woman in the game.
Marcus, those recorders are only $19.99, and I can order you one now as we speak.
Shut up! I don't want one. I don't want one now. My childhood is ruined. All right.
But what I liked about this segment is that Nia was really upset about being, made a fool of by Asuka and Sane.
You forgot the names.
I did, man. I'm old, man. I'm 40 years old, damn it. What can I say? So Nia decided that she wanted to divide and conquer.
About to have the greatest wrestling match ever.
she decided she wanted to divide and conquer. So she attacked Kairi Sane in the back, and threw her up against some stuff. What I liked about this segment was Asuka had the ability to attack that big bitch from behind. But instead, she went in front and confronted her and said, "Why did you do that to Kairi?" And let her know that a match was going to happen. Marcus, I have no doubt in my mind that this match would not qualify as the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Well, they haven't had the match yet. Remember, they're going to have the next week match for the double contender between Natty, Nia Jax, and apparently Charlotte Flair.
Why is Natty even in there? Can you someone explain why Natty's in there?
I have no explanation why Natty's in it. Natty has lost every match for this year.
I'm thinking maybe
the last 2 weeks.
Maybe she got some MVP representation. I'm not 100% sure because
I feel she's just there to take a pin because they don't want Charlotte to take the pin. Nia's probably going to win, and Natty's there to take the pin. There is no other reason.
I mean, that's accurate. Marcus, you wanted me to talk about the Iconics facing.
Before we go to the Iconics, Kairi Sane looked like she was about to start smoking some weed or hitting the fight when she was in the back, and Asuka walked away.
Don't you dare disrespect her playing the recorder in the back. when she was working on that recorder game at the back, and then Nia Jax comes out again and attacks her. That was rude. I will not accept. And I can't wait for Asuka to destroy her.
So, Marcus, you wanted to talk about the Iconics? Because I didn't, but you did, because I felt this match wasn't important.
Eric, I believe every time the women's tag team titles are on the line, it is the most important event of the week.
Is that why you got close to the camera?
Yes, I have to zoom in, and you have to look into my eyes. Look at me, okay? Look at me.
You're the captain now.
Captain now. But the Iconics versus Bliss Cross needed to happen, and for a moment, God damn, you trying to eye poke me?
I'm trying to eye poke you.
Huh? Just wait till I boop you, all right? Just wait till I boop you. No.
I'll boot you first.
I'll boop you next.
Don't boop me.
I'll boop on you, okay? I'll boop on you.
I will Everrise you.
Oh, Eric, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, that sounds very sexual, too. Like you're going to give me an erection.
Anyway, talk about your Iconics, Marcus.
So, the Iconics lose the match for dominating too much. Well, Peyton Royce deserves this disqualification. She jumped in the ring when she wasn't tagged and repeatedly threw, I think, Alexa Bliss into the turnbuckle at least 5 or 6 times after the round 5 count. To get disqualified, and it's the most disheartening thing ever, they cut to the back, Eric, where Billie Kay, out of impulse, slapped the shit out of Peyton Royce.
She did!
She slapped the shit out of her and didn't know why she did it. Like, how could you be so stupid to cause us the match? We had him. And my new favorite move in the game is Billie Kay's right punch, throat punch. When she throws the punch and releases her hand and hits you in the throat. It is the worst and best wrestling move in the game.
This was the match that exposed the rule that no one knew about wrestling, that if you attack the person and you're not the legal person, it's the...
Oh, that's Seth. That's Seth.
That was Seth.
No, that happened last week, but then the referee didn't immediately disqualify Peyton. He warned her a few times with throwing Bliss into the corner post, and then disqualified her for going too far.
Yeah, we're not leaving after the 5 count. So the rule is still up in the air of what happened with Rey Mysterio and Seth.
Okay.
Because Peyton Royce just got in the ring and lost her damn mind. If this was AEW, they'd be champions. I'm just saying. I think she got the strategy from Sean Spears.
Oh, you're frying shots already, huh? Okay, that's fine.
That was a shot. I'm just saying. She got her strategy from Sean Spears.
So what, you're saying this is the AEW rule book, and then...
Yeah, they throw it out the way. I mean, I wish they had it in their hands to throw it out the way. I don't think they've ever looked at it.
After this match, it was back-to-back women's match, and it was the submission match that nobody knew that they wanted or needed. It was Shayna going against Natty. This was a very, very good match. I must admit, I was shocked.
Greatest wrestling match of all time. Greatest women's submission match ever?
It could be. There was no doubt in my mind that Shayna was going to win this match. But I think what took place afterwards was the true cherry on top for me. I mean, the fact that Natty was not getting out the ring when they were laying the carpet down the ring for the Kevin Owens show, and she just stood there, and I could know if I'm a production head and I'm laying carpet and I see there's still wrinkles in the carpet, but I can't pull it because Natty's still standing there, would piss me off. Then Natty decided to throw the Kevin Owens size out. And you know, the Kevin Owens show hadn't been on there.
It went to oblivion.
I know. I mean,
the sign just went into oblivion. Like she threw it and just disappeared into the darkness of the empty arena. You can't do nothing like that with an audience, and that's how the stuff I like seeing. Did she never see that anywhere else?
Did she disrespect you, Mark? Because I know you're a Kevin Owens, fan, and disrespecting your boy like that.
No, I thought she livened up the segment because I'm so sick of these WWE talk shows.
Well,
I don't understand why we gotta have them on every single show. Everybody has a unique talk show to start a show. Just come out and cut the promo.
But this talk show led to so much more, Marcus. This was the talk show led to Kevin Owens getting down. It felt very Jerry Springerish to me. He got down to the meat and potatoes, and at the end of the day, Garza, Vega, and Andrade finally got rid of that dead weight and kicked and stumped out Austin Theory. And
well, they had a match.
I mean, it was after. I mean, Apollo Crews came out. Yes, they fought, and Theory, cost them the match. But Marcus, the stump out was important. What was important? The stump out, right, Manny?
Yeah, it was just a match that just happened. Like every match on Raw just happened this week, except the Charlotte and Ruby match, because that for me was like probably their match of the night on Raw, but everything else was just there, and the stomp out wasn't even really a thorough stomp out. Like they didn't really get him that well.
No, I've seen better beatdowns.
It wasn't the stomps that hurt him. It was the emotional scarring that really got him. He is a young man, and he really was impressed. He really wanted to be with these guys. These were the cool kids. Well, all right, they were the cool kids. They were on every Monday Night Raw. They were holding it down during the pandemic, and he was one of them. He filled in. He thought he was one of them, but then, wham, right to just take his ass out.
Well, I think
it's the right thing to do. Though.
I think for me in this situation, though, it's just that, yeah, he got stomped out, but we need to also point out that Apollo Crews got a win, a very good win at that point.
You think he's back too soon with his injury? He looked like he died when he got his injury.
Marcus, I'm actually happy where Apollo Crews is at right now. I think it's better than being a part of the Money in the Bank match where the true story is that Asuka became the champion, and no one can care about Otis. It's like it just didn't great because right now he's at a very good point in his career. When it comes to his promo backstage, I thought it was solid, and then Theory got put into the group that he needed to be in. That's the group with the Messiah himself, Seth Rollins. I think this was an upgrade. I mean, Vega is good, but Rollins is better in this situation. Marcus, do you disagree or agree?
This was a great trade. This was a great trade, and I wasn't even thinking about this coming. But there was one moment when I saw Theory rolling around on the outside doing the entrance or something of Buddy Murphy or Aleister Black. I was like, why he's still out there? And then it all clicked in, and it was like, he's gonna join Seth. And it's how Seth get all his people right off the ground after they lost the match. And then he convinced them, you want to get revenge on Alice Cruz? You want to get revenge on Vega and Andrade and Garza? You got to go after Selena Vega. And the one way to go after Selena Vega, you can't hit her, but you go after her heart, and we going to jump her man. Let's get her man. Let's stump her man out. And they did. They beat the shit out of her man.
Let's also give a shout out that Buddy Murphy wrestled 2 matches this night for no good reason, just because he had to.
Barely wrestled half a match if you add them all up.
Yeah, but Buddy Murphy just seemed upset when Seth was hugging Theory.
He did. He seemed jealous. He seemed jealous.
He thought he was the bottom. He thought he was the bottom bitch, and then he's like, they're so much younger. It was like watching Tiger King. When you had the 2 guys, you had the one,
who wasn't gay.
Damn, I don't remember any name. There was Batista.
All of them weren't gay. All of them weren't.
Gay. They were just on meth.
Oh,
but
he provided them other things. He provided them other things.
Meth and tigers. I can't remember either name, but that's what this is the vibes they got from when Buddy Murphy was looking. It was like, we're gonna have a 3-way male wedding on Raw next week.
And the Lord, I think you were going to make a point.
If you could join one of the 2 cults that are currently going in wrestling, who are you joining? The Dark Order or Seth's little club?
I'm going with Seth's club. I believe there was even a debate that I saw someplace where they were accusing the WWE of ripping off AEW and saying that Seth Rollins is a ripoff of Brody Lee, and I'm like, no, because he's been a Messiah for a minute. And the Dark Order was a cult until Brody Lee showed up and it just became whatever it is now. It's a disgrace, in my opinion. But a disgrace.
A
disgrace.
You sound like Trump. Everything that Trump that he don't like is a disgrace.
Yeah, but then if he was Trump, he'd have to do the thing with his hand.
Hold on. Disgrace.
Disgrace.
Shit. Obamagate disgrace. That's how you know what they did. And you know how they did it. And you know why they did it. But I'm not gonna tell you what they did. You did? Alright.
Come back later for conspiracy theories with Eric.
So
I would love to have a conspiracy YouTube channel and get 1 million followers. Oh shit, I'm just making up out of my ass at the moment.
Well, that's how you get more views. That's how we'll have more people participating in our chats and stuff if we can have somebody show up.
Babies. You see this episode of Muffin Babies? Look at they made that one look like Obama.
So now the main event of Monday Night Raw was Drew McIntyre going against Corbin. King Corbin. Corbin was talking throughout the entire night, bitching and moaning about why no one was treating him with respect as the king, because no one respect his reign as a king. You more than the bitch than the bitch.
That did not happen on Raw, but yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What didn't happen?
Calling him more of a bitch than a bitch.
I know, I'm calling him more than a bitch. That's why nobody respects his king. He needs to be a brutal king and start. He needs to take a page out of the Messiah's book and take an eye out. You got to take an eye. Let people know that you're serious.
He needs to just stop being the king, Eric. It's time to go away. It's time. And Barry needs to take time off and rethink of his life.
But I just think
he needs to go somewhere. He is not a number 1. He is a number 2. He's not the main guy.
One of my favorite stories this week is that WWE officials finally realized, Drew McIntyre is not that bad as a champion. We might want to keep the bet on him a little bit longer than we anticipated. I'm like, okay.
That's dirt sheet stories. I didn't believe that for a second. I mean, I hate when they have stories like this where WWE officials are finally happy about Drew McIntyre. When were they upset? Were they just going like, this is what we got?
seriously, when you hear these stories, don't you wish you were if you were Vince, wouldn't you throw out a random story every week and tell one person and then have them say it? And if that story got out, you'd fire him instantly, publicly.
I believe they actually did that at one point to find out where the leak was at. But at the same time, leaks create business because controversy creates cash. I mean, the whole match was really dependent on watching MVP and Bobby Lashley watch Drew McIntyre and King Corbin fight, which once again, King Corbin is perfect for this situation because he is a big bad guy, but we all know that he's not the end game. He's not going to produce the greatest wrestling match ever.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Or ever. Is it ever of all time?
I don't know what it is. I just thought that, Bobby and MVP being down there, it added a little mix. I'm excited because you're going to get a match you've never seen before, Bobby versus Drew. Well, you might have saw on TNA, but I'm not 100% sure.
Here's where I have to chime in on this.
Well,
I agree with you that Bobby and MVP... Huh?
You are paid to chime in, so I'm glad you decided not to just beat yourself.
You don't pay me shit. All my payments come from Aquafina, the #1 water bottle in the world.
It's better than the Dennis Quaid movie.
The Intruder, coming out May 19th, 2019. Starring Dennis Quaid and Megan Good.
Shout out to Cito even for beating NXT and AEW.
Hey, Marinas County. But I did enjoy the trash talk. It reminded me of like you washing your car across the street and you see your neighbors looking at you and they talking shit. You hear them talking shit, and he's like, "I can hear you." I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it happened to me all the time.
Really?
I'm only on the other side talking to shit. I'm never the guy actually.
Oh, okay. So you're the shit talker. Because I was gonna say, what are you doing to have your neighbors talk shit about you?
Wash my car, my shirt off.
Marcus, please don't do that.
It's Johnny fat motherfucker.
Yeah, but you know what, Marcus?
Watch him rub his titties into the mirror.
No, but see, no one understands the dynamic of the shirtless brothers that we are. Me and Marcus, we are not sights to see without our shirt on. However, if you had to pick of the three, you don't never want to see Ryan without his shirt on. He has an ass stomach. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like a what? Ass.
His stomach
it looks like a giant ass. Like imagine an ass, but on a stomach.
Yeah.
So basically, like, just two abs going down his chest.
Manny, we can't describe it because when we see it, we don't want to see it.
Oh, I need to draw it now. I need to know.
The unique experience.
So that was Raw.
I had to live with that.
But I think Manny said it best.
That was Raw.
It was a lot of nothing.
You skipped stuff.
I told you I was going to give...
You skipped the profits?
What did I kick? What did I skip?
The profits.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You know what? Forgive me, Lord. I wanted to talk... Wait, Manny, we can't see it. It went clear. Yeah, that's kind of. But it's toward the lower part, like where his belly hangs over. It makes like a little butt right there. Ryan's gonna kill us right now.
He ain't listening.
Oh, you're right, Marcus.
Yeah,
we had
to imagine him spilling ice cream over his stomach with his shirt off. Looks like he's shitting out of his stomach.
Marcus, because I forgot. I want you to lead us in the discussion of the axe throwing competition.
Well, this week in the Profits versus the Viking Raiders, they were going to an axe competition. The Viking Raiders were supposed to the Street Profits were going to meet up the Viking Raiders in the park. And I'm assuming the Street Profits thought it was just going to be the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. In the basketball, it was just 2 people. It was 4 people. And that's all you needed for the game. The Street Profits brought the entire clan with them. And they were lighting shit on fire. At that moment, I gotta walk away. I would not participate in this event. I already have suspicions that the Viking Raiders are a little bit racist, especially with Eric's tattoo. For some reason, it reminds me of a swastika right there. I don't know why.
That's what I was gonna say. It reminds me of American History X.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like it's just right there, and I'm like, he needs to start wearing the shirt because I'm getting racist vibes out of this.
Wow.
So they show up, and to show that this is not a traditional meeting, they're offering the Street Profits the smoke that they request.
The smoke.
So
He's like, we have the smoke.
we have the smoke, and they brought it out and fanned it to them, and the Street Profits looked at it. So I was enjoying it there. Then they do the axes, and they're throwing axes, and the everything the Viking ready to do is heavy edited, in which they have to cut away. And the Profits can't throw the axe. So it shows that nothing's going right, and the Profits are throwing their axe all over the place. Suddenly, a police car shows up, which they're really late. They're really late. I mean, there's smoke. We already have people practicing social
They are
distancing.
burning. They have Marcus. They have a bonfire in what appears to be a public park. That is not safe at all. At all. It's a bonfire, but it was the smoke.
Considering that we have social distancing and stuff going on, you would be wondering, like, the cops not paying attention to, like, there's smoke in the park. What? Let's go see what's going on there. There's 20-something people and a woman on a horse in the park right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we should investigate.
And the woman on the horse may or may not only been able to be seen by the Street Profits, because I'm not 100% sure.
I feel like it was only seen by Dawkins, because he's the only one that seems to have a problem with it.
Yeah, horse. I really enjoyed him yelling at the horse and the woman. I thought he was going to hit on the woman. I thought this was going to lead to him going like, hey, because you know how he acts in the back.
For me, I think the point that made me laugh the most is when Eric says, nah, fam. Because yes, Marcus, his tattoos are quite questionable, but I'm pretty sure they're not. But when he says, nah, fam, they were trying to be accommodating to the Street Profits. I really wish they would have had some potato salad. I know that's an inside joke, but that would have been really funny to me, because the Street Profits came to any type of challenge the way that I would like to come to the challenge, Marcus. And man, if we ever go, we need to be in matching jumpsuits. And you know, the Adidas jumpsuit, the Main Event Mafia jumpsuits, what Eric Young's the World Elite jumpsuits.
Eric, this is all Dawkins wear.
Yes.
Could you imagine Dawkins wearing actual clothes?
No.
Who would you see in suits and stuff? Dawkins only wears like he's forever on the bench of a basketball game.
Always dressed.
That's how he dressed. Like he's gonna be the first one waving the towel after somebody done.
He's the Jared Dudley of the Street Profits.
No, but Jared Dudley at least get in.
Not often.
He ain't getting in.
Oh.
He's a John Sally.
Manny, did you like this segment?
It was fun. I feel like I could have dealt with it in just one whole segment rather than coming in bits. But yeah, it was fun. It did its bit. Like, yeah, I was a bit hard on the basketball thing last week, but like it served its purpose.
I feel like each segment would be better if they never got to the end. The end always messes it up for me.
Yeah, because
the fact that I enjoyed the basketball segment up until the Viking Reds can really play basketball. And then this one, Dawkins can throw it when it counts when the police is there.
Well, Marcus, he had to make it.
Yeah, because a black man is throwing axes in Florida.
Marcus, he had to make it count. That's what made it even more funny for me, that he had to make it count.
The part that made me upset. The part that made me upset was the cop flirting with
Hanson.
I'm calling him Hanson and Ivar.
Ivar.
As he goes right now. I couldn't remember his name at all. He flirting with Ivar and called Eric ugly. I didn't appreciate that. And I didn't appreciate that last part of the segment. I wanted them all to go to jail. If they were going to have a last segment, they're all going to jail for throwing axes in the woods without a permit and lighting the park on fire. I mean, and public drinking from Montez Ford. He's clearly drinking something in that cup, and I don't think it's water.
Do you remember when the record skit, when he threw his axe into the barrel of meat and they were about to kick his ass? Yeah, that was a dangerous sign. With that being said, dangerous things are abroad in NXT. And NXT started off to combat AEW with no other than having Karrion Kross and Scarlett start the show off, Marcus. I would say good opening, but you can't do it every week. He fought Liam, but I think what was more important, he
didn't even get an intro.
It led to what I think everybody wanted. And I was shocked that Ciampa didn't kick his ass. But Ciampa came out there and he sold the hell. 6'4". Like, he sounded like he had a guy crush on the man. But he challenged him to a match. Marcus, are you excited to see Ciampa versus Kross?
Oh, man, was I excited. So, originally, like I told you earlier in the week, my plan, I was gonna start with AEW, and then I flipped to see what was going on NXT, and then I see Karrion Kross walk. I was like, well, I'm done. I'm gonna just watch NXT first. And so he has his spectacular entrance, and then Ciampa comes out, and I'm like, oh shit, man, they about to do this, man. They about to have this fight. This starting off, and then he walks out, and then he's getting into the ring. And my favorite moment is when Scarlett is holds the rope open like he's Ric Flair. And it's like, come in, come get your ass whooped.
come get these hands.
It's an equal opportunity ass whooping. I beat you up behind, but he did take you up front. So at that moment, I realized Ciampa didn't want none of that. When someone invites you to fight them, it's rare when you want to actually fight them, because I feel like they're gonna beat my ass at that very moment. Because you don't invite nobody in for an ass whooping.
Manny, do you feel that Ciampa and Cross have the potential to have the greatest wrestling match ever?
Yes, even though it's not on the greatest match ever Backlash.
It might be. You don't know.
It's like in your house.
I know it's in your house.
I mean,
yeah. It could be. Given it's a takeover match, it probably will be one of the best matches we'll ever see.
Takeovers are amazing, and they never disappoint. And I'm really happy. This is the perfect way to establish that Karrion Kross is a star by beating pretty much your top guy in the company. This was a better introduction than I felt like, and I'm going to challenge this to AEW than the Murder Hawk and the Cody scenario, in which this dude already beat his ass. He comes into it, he steps in his ring, he comes back, they're ready to face to face, and I feel like it just made everybody a bigger star, and I'm looking forward to this match.
You know, Marcus, I don't want
the greatest takeover wrestling match of all time.
I'm not trying to jump over to AEW yet, so I'm gonna keep my comments to the stuff. I want to move to something that NXT did this week that amazed me, because I was shocked, because I've said on the last couple of episodes that I have not been invested in the Cruiserweight Championship match at all. But for some reason, when it's elimination style, I was interested. So we had Group A and Group B. Let's start off with the controversy that makes absolutely no sense. We come into the match. It's Tozawa, who is clearly undefeated in Group B, was 2-0.
He's not undefeated. Oh yeah, he is 2-0.
He was 2-0, Marcus. You're right. I understand, Marcus. I got. Don't you boot me, motherfucker. With that being said, he was going against Phantasma. Phantasma, who was 1-1, right?
500 record.
He just 500. Phantasma defeats Tozawa. And somehow, with his 2-1 record, although Tozawa and Phantasma have the same record, Phantasma is advanced to the finals of the Cruiserweight title. Manny, go in first.
So it goes by strength of record.
Okay.
So basically, because Phantasma beat Tozawa to make him 2-1, that extra win holds up. So he beat Tozawa, so that 2-1 is stronger than Tozawa's 2-1.
Marcus, no, can we put the cruiserweights all in one thing right now?
Yeah, I am, Marcus, because I wanna ask Manny something real quick. I'm gonna let you speak, Marcus. I'm gonna let you speak, Stephen A. But I have a question for Manny. So Manny, then how come in Group A, when
I'll explain that as well. Go on. So Jake Atlas beat Maverick. Kushida beat Atlas. And Maverick beat Kushida. So they all cancel each other out.
You motherfucker. Okay, Marcus.
Nah, I don't believe.
Go ahead, Marcus. I need you to read and rave, because
this is bullshit. I don't even know what this was, but I tore it up just to say it. This is bullshit. Tozawa should be fighting Phantasma in the finals of Group B. They have the same record. They didn't go over the rules that you had to beat somebody and do that. Tozawa has he beat everybody in his division. He loses one match, and he can't get through. Phantasma, I think this is penalty, similar to when Eddie Murphy didn't win the Academy Award for Dreamgirls because he shot the movie Norbit. That's why Tozawa's out. Because Tozawa was jobbing on Raw every single week. They threw him out this tournament. And I feel that's a crime and it's a travesty. And I'm going to the Japanese UN, or not UN, or the consulate.
The consulate?
Yeah, the Japanese consulate. And we're going to take this to the mayor. We're taking it to the mayor.
So, Manny, I had to explain to Marcus why Atlas was at ringside supporting Drake Maverick, because he was like, I don't know why he's supporting Drake, because I was
he's
like,
his biggest fan apparently.
because I was like, you realize, Marcus, if Drake Maverick loses, then Atlas is eliminated altogether because Kushida has a great record. So he had to be out there cheering for Maverick to win with his fluke victory. But like I said, this week I was invested.
I didn't do that math. And the entire time this match was happening, when Atlas was in his bedazzled jacket, I thought he was going to jump the rail and screw Drake Maverick out of this match for no reason.
It wasn't bedazzled,
like,
it was fabulous.
Yeah, it was fabulous. I thought he was going... It's fabulous, baby. Just fabulous. I thought he was going to screw him out and be the biggest heel in NXT by getting Drake Maverick fired. Because not only would he eliminate him in the tournament area, he would got that man fired, and he wouldn't be able to feed his wife.
I heard your boy Swerve Scott got a win on 205 Live, but nobody saw it.
Oh, is that a point? Is that a point, or does it have to be on the main shows?
Marcus, he was already eliminated out of the Cruiserweight Classic. Rightfully so.
I'm talking about our own gentleman's agreement on our our wrestlers that we think go make it.
Man, we ain't picked no wrestlers.
You don't even remember who was your guy.
Yeah.
Swerve Scott and Aaliyah.
Boop you, Marcus.
That's a threat.
Oh, you're throwing guns now, yeah?
Yeah. So my crotch. Too.
Showing guns and talking about the big guns. WWE spared no expense this week on NXT for one of their promo packages. I have no idea where they
did spare expense, and I'll tell you later where they spared it at.
They decided that Manny, Shotzi Blackheart, would not only get to have a tank, but a real tank in the junkyard where she would cut a promo that looks like it was about to be a vignette between one of the old daytime talk shows like Jenny Jones or Ricky Lake before they come and confront somebody that was bullying them. Marcus, go ahead and break this down.
Hold on, I'm going to just do my impersonation. Hi, guys. My name is Shotzi Blackheart, and I am... I don't know how old she is. I would say 20-something years old. And my man, he would never cheat on me. You a lying bitch. And I will come out and get you anytime, any place.
What is this, your audition for the real world?
No, that's exactly how this went. That's exactly how this went. I felt like this was on the Jenny Jones show or Ricky Lake. Or even what's his name? Richard Bell, Eric. What's his name?
Richard Bay.
Well, it doesn't matter. Those daytime talk shows in which they're talking about confronting people. I enjoyed the tank. I thought it was gonna fire, but I don't know how much it cost WWE to use the tank.
Manny,
who just has a tank in their backyard in Florida?
Manny, did you like the tank running over the cars that was already ran over?
Yeah, because it was just like, oh, this is you, woman. This is you. Another person that's going to step in my way. It was incredible. This is stuff you should see on the dirt sheet.
Well, go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, can I sum something up with this?
Go ahead.
I still jump in. All right, so the next promo I want to talk about is Cameron Grimes, your boy, Eric. Since we talked about Manny's girl, Shotzi, your boy, Cameron Grimes was outside of his heart. And I think the promo budget ended right there with Shotzi's team.
Let's put out this one.
He had enough package. After Karrion Kross intro, after Shotzi's tank, the budget was out, and they just shot Cameron Grimes outside in his underwear next to a gate in a bad neighborhood.
Let me tell you something, Marcus. You are 100% correct. Cameron Grimes got maybe 1% of the budget. They say, hey, let's just go to that fence behind the Performance Center where there's a little bit of green. We're going to try to blur it up. And Cameron, you do your thing. For the record, Cameron did a good job for the situation that he was put in. I mean, he was able to cut his yokel promo. The problem is that you couldn't separate what he was saying from the background that he was standing in, because it was the same park probably where they shot the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders giving the smoke, or next door to the junkyard. They did not put any money invested into poor Cameron Grimes, who got that win last week, Marcus. He got that win. He deserved that win.
Can I just point out he looked homeless even more in that background? So when you say he looked at home and he did really well, of course he'd do really well. He was at home, outside. He is homeless.
You know, in documentaries, whenever they show someone saying, I grew up in a poor neighborhood, I feel like Cameron Grimes is in the middle of that right there. When he's like, damn, that's where you started, huh? Shoot, I don't know if you're coming back out of that.
I mean, if there's,
He was in his underwear with no shirt on the vest, Eric. He was missing a ukulele or something. I really feel like your boy ain't going nowhere. And like, I didn't like the promo. He was like, I did it. And I was like, get out of here, man.
if there's anybody watching this live right now, please comment in the chat if Marcus is right about Cameron Grimes or if I'm right about Cameron Grimes. Come on, man. I mean, it was a
He
bad
ain't gonna
promo.
make it.
Speaking of not making it, last week we had dinner with the LeRays again. But this week, we're having couple warfare. Mia Yim was fighting Santana Garrett, who makes her own outfits, Marcus Toby, which is why her outfits are always so fire.
I didn't notice. I'm just saying this is what Beth Phoenix told me when I was watching the telecast.
Well, I appreciate that, Marcus. I was listening to you instead of Beth Phoenix. And next thing you know, Gargano and LeRae came out to attack Mia Yim. Needless to say, Keith Lee decided he would interrupt into this. Now, Marcus, I like this on the surface, but I know what this is leading to. Johnny Gargano's going to take that title from Keith Lee.
Well done. It has to happen eventually. I'm happy it's toward Gargano. I believe we may get a mixed tag here and there or whatever the case may be, or if it's a singles match between individual people. I don't know. I enjoyed it. My problem was Keith Lee needs to be more of a badass, and he can't be. Sorry, somebody was walking by my window, and I was like, who the fuck? And he can't be running around in those sweatpants and pink shoes. I can't take it serious.
Doesn't he get paid more for being a champion? Can someone get him new shoes or get him a shoe deal? Because I'm tired of seeing the same pink shoes every week.
Well, but I think when you look at his merchandise, the pink shoes is part of his gimmick now because I guess I don't know. I mean, he is the champion. I don't understand why he got to walk around like in daddy sweats all day. Like, I just got off of work.
He needs to lose.
I just got off of work, so shit. Put these sweats on.
He needs to lose that title, and he needs to go to SmackDown.
Because I can see
SmackDown is hella thin with talent. Hella thin.
And they have
everybody's in that tournament.
And they have room for both him and Yim because the women's division is pretty thin on SmackDown too. I mean, although they are teasing Sasha versus Bayley, and then I'll be happy. So so we had Roderick Strong going against Dexter Lumis, and probably the biggest shock of the night, Roderick Strong got a win. Manny, I had this penciled in already on my.
Every time Roderick Strong wins,
I had this penciled in already on my sheet that Dexter Lumis was getting this win. I was shocked that Roderick Strong not only got the win, he got the win without the help of the Undisputed Era. Were you shocked also?
I did think he was going to lose, Roderick Strong, but I don't know why he won. Like he is the whipping boy of the Undisputed Era. I don't know why he won. Like he didn't need to win.
Marcus, do you know why he won?
One, I think he won because wins and losses are something that doesn't matter to Dexter Lumis. It's all about the kill. And he went for the choke, and you couldn't have the ending you wanted with him choking out Roderick Strong and the Undisputed Era making a save or something, and the Velveteen having to come out. To get to where they got to, I could only see Roderick Strong winning, I guess. I don't know. But in my notes that I mentally took, I forgot it. Dexter Lumis is the next big star on the main roster, or on this roster. I really like everything about Dexter Lumis. So there's nothing he's doing wrong with me.
So you like that he choked out Roddy while Velveteen, dressed in whatever outfit he was wearing this week, beat up everybody.
The Undisputed Dream.
Yeah, I enjoyed his outfit, and I really wish if they want to make a tag team of the creepiest tag team guys ever, Velveteen and Dexter Lumis together, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. It's the creepiest tag team ever.
I'm still waiting for the explanation.
I'm gonna murder her.
I'm still waiting for the explanation of why he's helping Dream, because there's no legit reason for why someone as creepy as Lumis, unless he's got a crush on Dream, someone as creepy as Lumis is helping out the Dream.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's my reason. He's crazy.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like, Manny's crush idea doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I mean, it's some weird shit going on. I mean, who knows? Something that I think everybody knew was going to happen. It was Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai. It finished as a no contest because Charlotte, who has to appear on every show, decided to interfere in this match. I mean,
it ruined every show. You got to get it right.
Okay, she ruins every show. Are you happy, Marcus?
No, she graces them with them fake ass titties.
And by titties he means teeth. And by teeth he means cheekbones. By cheekbones he means titties.
That was so unnecessary. Given that I said titties, what you did was more unnecessary than what I did.
I mean,
Yep.
And that pretty much was NXT. I don't think there's any way to follow up anything after that. I mean,
hold on. Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley had a really good match, and probably was going to be my match of the week. However,
Eric, why did you skip over Marcus's favorite tag team ever, Rice?
Because, like, first of all, it was Ani Lorcan and Danny Burch. No one cares about them. And then they're going against Everrise. And despite what Marcus think, I'm not petty to have him enraged just so he can see Everrise in their celebration pose and coming out to the ring. Because nobody wanted that match on NXT. No one needed that match. It was there.
The sheer mention of Everrise made Marcus step away from the
disappeared.
camera.
Where did Marcus go? Was there somebody at his door knocking? Is that you, baby? Is that you?
Are you guys done talking about Everrise?
We weren't talking about Everrise.
Oh, man. Because as soon as they show up on the show, I'm getting out of here.
All right.
I do not like them. They are terrible people.
Marcus, you're the only one talking about them right now. I'm not talking about them.
I demanded a French tag team, and it's not them.
Marcus,
they're not my French tag team.
I'm trying to move on to SmackDown so we can talk about the true meat and potatoes of this show. That is,
there ain't no moving on after this, man. There ain't no going on.
So, the SmackDown started off with the dirt sheet. The dirt sheet was so out of place because they're challenging Strowman to a match that no one wants to see, where Morrison books Braun Strowman versus Miz for no reason. Marcus, were you excited to see this happen?
Yeah, because I'm going to hit the fast forward button all the way to the end of this, because that's what I wanted to do when I was watching it. I wanted nothing to do with the dirt sheet and Braun Strowman in this feud and them setting them up for... I didn't want anything to do with this. But the fact that Morrison had the grand plan of taking the title off Braun Strowman actually intrigued me. Braun Strowman lost the Intercontinental title because he thought he was the man and took on Sami Zayn's entire crew, the Artist Collective, or whatever they were called, in a handicap match. So
you're skipping out the part of the shade he threw at Seth Rollins for getting Becky pregnant.
Yeah, I was going to Manny. I was going to go to you with the puppets. I mean,
the puppets are bottom of the barrel type of content. That's the stuff you're really reaching to try and get something.
Like, I like the comment about the Seth Rollins, and, I had no problem with anybody on the microphone. I just didn't want to see Braun Strowman, and I knew that's what that was leading to. I have no interest in Braun Strowman as champion. None.
I just think it's like, for me, like, if you're going to have a paper champion, and I don't know Braun personally, I don't know if he's a paper champion or not, but
transition.
He does seem like a guy who is in the position to just hold the belt until they give the belt to somebody who they really feel deserves the belt. If that was the case, we could have gave it to Sheamus, and I would have been a lot more happier in this situation. When you go over Sheamus' win-loss record and his legacy, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, goddammit. And
you don't have to throw goddamn it in there.
I do.
Unbelievable. God damn it.
If you were going to give the title away, I would have experimented with Cesaro. Like, this is the perfect time to have experimented with Cesaro.
I agree.
As the world champion. Like, there's no live reaction. Although I'm assuming the live crowd would have loved it.
Yeah. People would be happy for Cesaro. I don't know anybody that don't like Cesaro. I can't think of anything he's ever did wrong. We go, oh, not Cesaro. But Cesaro Braun Strowman is just not, he's not my champion. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my God.
That's the power of Braun Strowman choking you up.
The Strowman Express is coming right through you.
Yeah. Sounds like a disease. Oh, Braun Strowman reminds me of the guy from Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. You know that old decrepit guy who was on the throne. He was the I forget what it was. He was just sitting there before Aragorn took his spot, and you go, "That's the king," and that's all he is. He's just that guy. I have no names for this analogy.
All right,
but I know who I'm talking about. The guy that was eating tomatoes.
So after 20 minutes of nonsense of watching Friday Night SmackDown, the show takes a serious turn where AJ appears, and AJ is in full face mode on top of that because he has his phenomenal one gear on. He got the gloves on. He probably never took the stuff off, but you know, he seemed like he was in good guy mode. And then they make the announcement that he has been traded to Friday Night SmackDown for a wrestler to be named later. The last time Raw got a wrestler to be named later, it was Apollo Crews. Quite frankly, I kind of feel like King Corbin will be ended up on Monday Night Raw sooner rather than later. Manny, how did you like AJ Styles being traded?
See, I like that they brought him back to the house that AJ Styles built, but I hate when they do trades and then you don't have anyone going in the other direction because it's supposed to be a surprise, but that's not how trades work. Unless there's a wrestler called later and then goes over.
Well, Manny, this is where I have to disagree with you.
I just don't know who SmackDown could have traded.
No, I have to.
That roster unless it's Roman.
Manny,
unless they somehow finagle Roman out.
Manny, there's always a trade in the NBA where it's the player to be named later. And that usually means somebody no one cares about because you were just moving money and you didn't have a body to move. And you're telling the NBA, we're going to find somebody we don't like and we're going to send them to them. But we really want to do this for money. And I feel like that's what the SmackDown Raw situation. Fox is like, we ain't got no Roman. We ain't got no Brock. We need a star, damn it. And they got the
part-time.
They got AJ Styles, man. I mean, SmackDown is the house that AJ built.
Okay, Eric, so you have to go to the SmackDown roster right now. Who would be the person? And they couldn't have competed today, because if they were traded, they could not compete on SmackDown today. Who did they trade AJ Styles for?
Didn't I say it already? I said King Corbin. When King Corbin went over there part of the exchange, they was like, you can keep him and we'll keep AJ, and that's what happened. That was the bottom line.
Manny, who would you get if it's not King Corbin? Because that's a horrible person from Monday Night Raw to be like, yeah, we'll take him.
Hold on, Manny. Monday Night Raw is where the big boys play, Marcus. And he's a big boy. He fit right in.
He's trash. He's trash. I can't do nothing with him.
Cameron Grimes or King Corbin?
Cameron Grimes.
That's just
giving up on Corbin.
That is disrespect.
You're delusional.
That is just disrespect right there, man.
I'm giving up on Corbin. I'm 100% giving up on Corbin.
You know what, man? I'm going to you. No, I'm not going to Marcus right there. I'm going to Manny. Manny, get the full screen. If I gotta see
him slide out the ring,
Marcus gonna talk in the little boxes. Manny's on the big screen.
Look how quick he is.
No. No.
How dare you? That man is agile. He is so agile when he slides out the ring and then slides back in that quickly. So agile.
It's like hearing King jump off the top of the rope. Look at the agility. Or the Undertaker, he walks the tightrope. No one can do that. And they have to say it every single time. I do not need to see Corbin slide out. It's the new Dean Ambrose clothesline for me. When he bounces off the ropes and does the clothesline. I do not need that move.
Manny,
but who'd you get? Who's worth the AJ Styles trade?
I'd give him Shamo to get him away from Jeff Hardy.
That is a good trade.
No, but he couldn't have competed tonight. Because if you got traded, you're gold already. Unless,
It's to be named later.
I think they traded Drew Gulak. They traded Drew Gulak out of not being able to re-sign him. And then they realized it and then released him later. That's the
or maybe Nakamura. Nakamura on Raw.
Hey, Nakamura facing AJ Styles woke up a Nakamura that I hadn't seen in a long time. This was a very, very good match. And it was not
they used to do a three-way trade.
It wasn't at the level of the greatest wrestling match that we haven't seen yet, but it was still a very good match. And this is when the SmackDown show started to make sense, telling me that the SmackDown champion is Boo Boo. I said it, doo-doo, Boo Boo. But continue, man. You was making a point before I cut you off.
Before you start talking about Boo Boo?
if it's not Sheamus, I'd send a revitalized Shinsuke Nakamura over to Raw.
He already wears red. So, did you like the AJ Styles Nakamura match, Manny?
It was a solid match. That's all you expect from those two, though. Like, they're not gonna give you a shit match. There's just no way, and especially that they got given time. There was no way they were gonna give you a shit match.
And AJ won. Marcus, were you happy that AJ won? I mean, Nakamura's been your boy a long time.
Nakamura is my boy a long time, but Nakamura hasn't really done much in a while. If they were going to trade anybody, I would have preferred Nakamura to move to NXT, where he can just do what Nakamura does best and just have really good matches with people. And maybe they'll re-energize him in his career. And instead of just having him just in this mid-card in his jumpsuits doing jobs to random people every single week. But this was a good match, and AJ being built as a face, they needed a star on this show, and AJ is the welcome star they brought.
And this match was followed by a better match because the seasoning was being set. We go backstage.
Can I pause for a minute?
Go ahead. You always want to pause when I'm segueing.
I want to say this is something I felt. I felt like they did some type of retcon work because throughout the night they had some piped in audio from Michael Cole reselling stuff that they didn't probably do on the show. I think AJ Styles didn't know he was traded in the middle of the show. Like when they filmed this show, they decided in the middle of the show that I think we should keep AJ Styles on the show instead of using the wild card rule or whatever they're using. And so I think they piped in the audio of the trade.
Yeah, it was really loud. It was louder than how Cole was speaking prior in the lead up to that.
That could be a possibility.
He was like, AJ Styles has been traded to SmackDown. But and they showed the brackets on the previous week, not realizing that they haven't announced this trade yet. This was the last minute trade.
Something that was not last minute and was a decision that Bayley came to a decision herself when she told Sasha Banks, "Girl, I need you to stay in the back. Because I'm going to go out to the ring by myself." Sasha had dressed up. She wore the dress outfit that was the same complexion as her tan. And she was ready to go out there and show up. She even had a plan for Bayley, Marcus. If you're Bayley, would you be upset? I mean, if you're Sasha, would you be upset that Bayley told you to stay in the back when you got dressed up?
Who are you talking to?
I told you Marcus. I said Marcus.
Oh, I missed my name, okay? You know. You gotta say the full thing, Marcus the grand finale. It's one name. You can't just say Marcus, all right? You know, just the way things work. Yes, Eric, I would be. I brought my special outfit on. I think it's the same outfit she wore last week, to be honest. I brought my special outfit. I came up with a plan. This is like Cody Rhodes telling Arn Anderson and Brady to stay in the back. I can handle this by myself when he probably could. That's the problem. But she had a plan. She knew Bayley can't beat no Charlotte. She knew it because she can't beat Charlotte. How Bayley gonna do it?
So, Manny, my question for you: what was more of a surprise victory? Bayley getting the win over Charlotte, or Roderick Strong getting that win over Loomis?
I think it was Roderick Strong getting the win over Loomis because Bayley has beaten Charlotte, has taken the title off Charlotte twice.
Yes.
So, and as soon as Bayley hit the choo-choo, I knew she was gonna win. she revved up and then choo-chooed into the ropes.
But the thing about it though, they put the stat up. I guess going into that match, they were 8-8 going head to head. Charlotte had 8 wins. Bayley had 8 wins. Now Bayley is 9-8 and got 1 win. So next time they fight, that means Charlotte's going to win. But as Marcus told me, the best part about the entire match is when you go backstage and Sasha has the ultimate shade. It's like, oh, you actually won. I didn't think he was going to win. And that's
you did it. I can't believe it. She runs up. You didn't think I could do it, bitch?
Yeah, it's like, oh.
No. And then Bayley like, nah. I enjoy to see planning to have this match. By the way, this was my match of the week was Charlotte versus Bayley.
Who the hell is Charlie?
Charlie Caruso, as I like to call her.
So is this your Aquafina match of the week?
This is the Aquafina match of the week. And Nakamura and AJ Styles was my intruder match of the week because AJ Styles intruded in that segment. But this was my match of the week, and because I got the 2 best trash talkers in the game in the empty arena, Charlotte and Bayley talking mad shit to each other the entire time. My favorite moment is Charlotte on her knees, getting chopped by Bayley and talking about there's levels, bitch. There's levels. You hurt. He said, down, hurt. And Bailey going, you're sick or something's wrong with you. And then Charlotte starts chopping her. It's like, how you like those, huh? How you like? And it's just back and forth the entire time. And then Bailey cussing out Michael Cole again. It's always a treat. It's like, oh, what do you think about that, huh? And so I really enjoyed the hell out of this match.
And then this
greatest match ever.
Charlotte goes outside and rips the headset off Michael Cole's head. No, tells Sasha to come outside.
Yeah.
Come out.
I thought Sasha was gonna come.
No.
I thought Sasha was gonna come.
Even though everyone can hear her, she still had to rip it off his head.
See, at that point, Charlotte was feeling herself because she was whooping. That's when she dumped Bailey on the other side of the barricade, and she's like,
9 count.
"Huh?
It was a 9 count. They went to commercial on a 9
Yeah."
count.
But the thing was, she grabbed the headset and she's like, "You know what? I'm beating your bitch friend up too. Bitch, get your ass out here too. Come on, Sasha." And it was hilarious at that point because it was like it was so unnecessary, but it added to the feud. And then
Okay, Sasha. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead because I was about to move away.
Oh, okay. Sasha Bailey feud. Who's the face? Who's the heel? I thought we got a tease that Bailey might be going back because she did the little to the elbow, the choo-choo tray thing. I feel like she might be going back to Bailey.
You want happy Bailey back, Marcus? That's all it is.
And I want evil Sasha. I feel like it doesn't work the other way.
I want to see it attempted the other way though.
But
you're gonna be wrong.
But Manny, you can't. We all know Sasha doesn't have a good bone in her body. It seems so forced when she has to be a good guy.
No, it's even when Corey is still throwing shade at Sasha. I was like, she's evil. Don't trust her, Bailey. Every week.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with the choo-choo thing, I thought she was throwing shade at Tamina again, at the Tamina train.
So SmackDown had a serious match, but then it was followed by the next match of I'm not talking to you, serious.
This is serious.
Yeah, I said, but the next match was not as serious because we've seen these competitors fight each other over and over again. It was
this was serious to me. It has stakes. This was the end, Eric.
This was not the end. It's Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville going against Otis and the new Tucker Knight, Mandy Rose. Go ahead, Marcus.
Eric, I'm jumping in right now. And this was not the end of their feud, but this was the official end of Tucker Knight. Otis has found his new tag team partner, Fucker Knight. Mandy Rose is now known as Fucker Knight, and she's going to be his team partner, and they're going to win the tag team titles together.
Okay.
Safety.
I think for the sake of time, we can just move on to Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus.
You think this is good for Sonya's career?
No. I just don't care about this. It just... I don't know. But I thought the main event, Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, Marcus, that was my match of the night. I thought this match told a good story. And, of course, watching a Jeff Hardy match that is edited is always a great thing because anytime he goes for half of his moves, whisper to win, jump cut, run at the barricade, let's jump cut again. Like, it's always a good chance he's not landing any of these moves.
Well, if you have a match where they have to do so many jump cuts, I don't know how you give it match of the night.
Because
where you have to edit out every person's move because he didn't land a single move.
Because Sheamus was about whooping his ass, and he was gonna whoop his ass from the get-go. But then Jeff Hardy...
let's not forget, he kept a close eye on Michael Cole as well.
Yeah. And so, Marcus, as you called it, Jeff Hardy won, but we already know Daniel Bryan is getting through to the finals because Sheamus is not going to allow Jeff Hardy to win. Simple as that.
He's not. He can't. Daniel Bryan's going to take this tainted victory. Or he may, what if Sheamus cost Daniel Bryan the match by coming after Jeff Hardy? Either way, we're getting the greatest wrestling match ever, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan in the finals for the Intercontinental title, where Daniel Bryan said he's bringing the workhorse wrestling match back.
Well, that was SmackDown.
Best tournament they've done in months.
Manny, do you have anything else to add to SmackDown before we move over to All Elite Wrestling to close out?
Shout out to Drew Gulak for being out the game.
Apparently, so Dirt Sheets are saying that they're just reworking a new contract because they're not willing to offer him money that he wants.
He wants to be paid more, but it's a pandemic. Damn it! I mean, I think they could come across and reach a a workable agreement to work with each
Well,
other.
AEW have their mystery person in this casino ladder match. Could it be? Could it be Drew Gulak?
No.
I'm already disinterested in that match because Rey Fenix is injured.
Marcus, as we like to call this week's episode, I like to call this the ER episode of AEW Dynamite because everybody ended up in the fucking emergency room because of just things that they shouldn't have done for the go home show. Like this is the show that was supposed to sell me Double or Nothing, not knowing that yesterday after SmackDown goes off, TNT was airing the Double or Nothing special that I could not watch. Did you finish it,
Can I chime
Marcus?
in and say you didn't you could have played with words right there. This was the go home show that could have sold me Double or Nothing. They could have sold you Double, Eric, but they sold you nothing.
They didn't, Marcus.
Huh?
They didn't.
We thinking that play on words?
Whatever,
huh?
man. So I guess I should ask the question. That's the question in the room. Manny, are you going to watch Double or Nothing?
I'll watch it. I'm not paying for it.
I had two questions for you, but you answered them both right there and there.
Hit him with the poll, Manny.
I can't find the poll anymore, but the last time I checked it, we threw up 3 answers. It was yes, and I believe that was at 8. So 8 people on the mid-card mess said they would pay
Marcus
for it.
put yes, and so I know he was lying, by the way.
I'm not trying to be incriminated by the FBI. Okay?
There was 7 people that said no, just a straight out no. And then myself and then 2 other people said no, but I'll find other means to watch it.
Now, Marcus, did the episode of Dynamite do anything to even change your position to make it you an honest man to pay for Double or Nothing?
Well, I am an honest man, and I will never lie. Okay, this is AEW game. That's when I'm gonna. No, they didn't really sell me on anything new. In fact, it detracted from it because the start of the show, when I'm just gonna jump ahead a little bit to the Orange Cassidy Rey Fenix match.
No, don't jump yet to the best match of the night.
You don't ask me questions, dude.
Okay, I
We
won't.
get there.
So AEW started off with the Elite arriving at the arena, and they got confronted by Alex Marvez.
Who is this man?
Who is the worst interviewer in the game?
Wow,
The worst.
I'm begging for Adam Lee to come back.
wow,
He's basically Mike Adam Lee.
I don't know who this guy is, but he is the worst interviewer in the game.
With that being said, Chris Jericho had Floyd in hand, and he said, if you thought what we did to Vanguard 1 was something, then wait till you see what we do to the Elite later on tonight. Now, we're going to really fast forward right here, because we're going to go to their big go-home.
I'm not allowed to jump to Rey Fenix, but you're allowed to fast forward all the way to the end.
Yes, because Marcus, this is a conversation that's going to take a lot of time. Manny, I've told this to Marcus numerous times already. I am curious. If you recall how AEW ended, it ended with the Inner Circle
allegedly Adam Page running 100 yards when he appeared at the 50-yard line.
We had Kenny Omega strapped to a goalpost in the tightest shorts ever with a baseball bat. But after they struck him with the baseball bat, you see the Young Bucks in full wrestling attire, dressed off to the side. And then you also have Matt Hardy, who made the run that Cody Rhodes couldn't make to the field.
Yes.
After his match.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together for that. Yes.
To the match. And then you had Hangman Page making a 100-yard run return. 50.
He cheated. I'm not going to take it away from the man. He ran 100 yards. Let him say he ran 100 yards.
My question for you, Manny. Was this a setup by the Elite to have Kenny Omega kidnapped so they could all attack him at that moment at the end of the show? Because if it was not a setup, it made absolutely no sense to me.
First of all, that is a terrible setup. So imagine if someone you go, okay, here's the idea. I'm going to have you kidnapped. What if they killed him? So like,
I
I
look
know,
like
I know, I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke where all bad guys suddenly like tell you the plan before they actually attempt to kill you.
Manny, can I
to
pause you
give
real
you enough.
quick?
Yeah.
I forgot something. Everybody, if you go back to NXT, I believe Phantasma is behind the masked people because he could have got out and helped Tozawa when he got his ass kicked by those two masked guys.
He had to walk around the other side of the car. I went back and rewatched that. He had to walk out on the other side of the car. He could not make that save.
He could have, Marcus.
I was more intrigued that his outfit of the suspenders looked like he just came out of a 1980 board meeting. And I looked at him. But man, like, he had to pull up next to Tozawa and say, "Yo, Tozawa, dog, push me to the limit, homie. You the man. You the real shit. I'm sorry you out this tournament for no reason." And then he gets in his car and like, "I'm gonna keep driving. I don't know where your car is. I'm going home."
All right,
Tozawa got his ass beat.
So Manny, go back into your AEW talk. I'm sorry, I had to. Didn't want to.
So it's just like every bad guy will normally tell you the plan before actually doing it, so giving you enough time to escape or do a reversal and get yourself out of the situation. So like realistically, if this was a setup, it was a bad setup because they could have killed Kenny Omega, they could have killed Pumpkinhead.
I mean, the fact that the Young Bucks had to pose before they made the save. Marcus, were you disappointed with the conclusion, or were you entertained by this?
So my whole thing was about, like, the thing that glared out to me the most wasn't the Hangman Page running 100 yards, maybe 50. It wasn't Kenny Omega getting kidnapped in Darby Allin's booty shorts. It was the Young Bucks jump. Because they were in the stands. They were up there in the stands. They had no way down. I would have still killed Kenny Omega. No one could have stopped them because they had no way down until the LAX ran over there and they were able to jump down and catch them. Where Matt apparently broke his rib. So, I felt like that part made no sense. If you just looked at it and be like, what y'all gonna do up there? Y'all can't do shit. We gonna kill your boy.
To be fair though, they nearly killed Sammy Guevara 2 weeks ago, but when they tried to run him over. So technically, it's all fair and game.
No, yeah. Like for me, I'm okay because I still think that this will be the best match on the whole pay-per-view. I think this will be the most fun, the most ridiculous. The thing that when people end up talking about, they'll be like, this was the match that sold the night. At the end of the day, the storyline of we're going to kidnap Omega, and then right then, that's when the Young Bucks and Paige and everybody show up at the exact right moment. And then I guess Matt Hardy making it to the field makes sense because I forgot he can teleport. So it's all good in that situation. So it just...
He made that run after a match. His cardio was on point.
If he was teleporting, he would have done it a lot quicker, though, wouldn't he? Unless he only could teleport in certain amount of distances.
Yeah, he was time jumping. That's what he was doing.
No, I think I told Eric this. The thing that reminded me the most of this moment was two things. One, in the movie Lean on Me, when Morgan Freeman is finding out that somebody is beating up Kid Ray in the cafeteria, when him and them, they all go do that run and go save him, and you just see Kid Ray being slapped from side to side. That reminded me of what was going on with Kenny Omega. And two, this reminded me of Koopa kidnapping the princess and tying her up and not knowing what to do with her for the millionth time. I don't know how Kenny Omega was kidnapped for this long. I do not. He was kidnapped for at least 2 hours of the show. And then I guess the Young Bucks and everybody were looking for him all through the night, and everything came to a head. So I just feel like none of it made sense. Well, they had the Elite in their end zone, and then they celebrated like the inner circle. I just
something else that didn't make sense on this week's episode of AEW, in my opinion, was the women's tag team match. It was Chris Statlander teaming up with Hikaru Shida, the number one contender, going in to face Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. Now, for what it's worth, the match was perfectly fine, but for some reason, the performers decided that, you know what? We need someone to go to the emergency room right here. So Chris Statlander and Shida decided that they wanted to try to double body slam Nyla Rose into poor Britt Baker, who weighs less than 125 pounds in the corner, and in the process, I believe, fucked up her knee and she may be out of action for 6 months. Marcus, I turn to
No,
you.
I thought the torn ACL.
Yeah.
That's
that was
six.
only 6
That's
months.
6 to 9 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Marcus,
I thought that was like a year.
was it worth it when Britt Baker was finding her stride with being the role model of the women's division of AEW?
She can do the same shit in the cast, Eric. That's all I'm saying. No. Oh. So the match was going fine and everything. I didn't realize she got hurt. I just knew that move didn't go right. I was like, I don't know what they were attempting with this. It just didn't go right. It didn't look right. Everything seemed wrong. I thought Brent was faking the injury so she wouldn't have to get back in the match because she was earlier in the match pretending not to want to tag in.
Tag me!
Tag me! Oh shit! All right. So I didn't realize we were going this route, and then I was completely miffed on the ending, and I'm still miffed on the ending that they could have come up with a better ending, even though the doctor was injured. That Sheena got pinned, and that's it. That's their title match. Nyla Rose done beat 2 women and her challenger after 11 weeks of being number 1 contender.
12 weeks, Marcus. This was 12 weeks, Marcus. This was the 12th
12 weeks. Sorry,
yes.
12th week. She finally gets pinned in essentially a handicap match. I don't know how they came to the finish of, Sheena, you need to take this pin. They could just pin Statlander and nobody would have cared.
So, Manny, it looks like you have something that you need to say. Are you excited by Nyla Rose versus Sheeta at Double or Nothing?
No, I'm more annoyed that they got the doctors out.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors out. Like I think she's had like some of the worst luck in AEW. So she had the busted up nose, which made an awesome T-shirt. But then I don't understand like the levels of communication, because like, if there was something really wrong, it took them a really long time to deal with it.
Well, looking at AEW, this whole entire product this week, it seemed like it was a lot of communication problems all together. And before I get there, Manny, I have a very serious question for you.
Oh.
Nyla Rose or Nia Jax?
Oh, he's taking a moment to think. Wow, can I feel the time?
Go ahead, Marcus.
I will take Nyla Roses for safety precautions before Nia Jax.
I'll take Nyla Rose. Because you know why, Eric?
Why?
Because she got your candlestick, bitch.
No, hey, hands
it
down.
Came all the way down too.
I'll tell you this right now. I never thought these words would ever come out my mouth. I would also take Nyla Rose in this situation. I find her more entertaining than Nia Jax. I find that she's one of the few reasons that I'm entertained on AEW. I was disappointed that she wasn't finding people's kendo stick again. Bitch. That was the greatest segment. I found your kendo stick, bitch. And then the fact that Sheeta did not come out with the kendo stick this week really disappointed me, because I wanted her to walk out with the kendo stick.
I thought she hit her and then walked away with it still.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
didn't think she gave it back to her.
Oh, okay.
It's just like
The kendo stick. She dropped that.
So I guess we should talk about some positives of AEW, but it will lead to negatives too. One of the better matches I've seen on AEW TV involved someone that I never thought I would say was going to have a good match. Well, he did against Pac. That is Orange.
Every time he has a match.
I don't call him Orange motherfucking Cassidy. Went against Ray Phoenix in probably one of the best TV matches that I've seen on AEW television. However, it was marred by a lot of sloppiness, Marcus. And I don't allow you to speak on this sloppiness, Stephen A. Let us know, Marcus, how you feel about this match, because I know it affects you personally.
As I lick my lips and tell you how I feel about this. Before this was declared a good match, I was like, this is good. And I determined at this moment, when Ray Phoenix missed that dropkick, I declared him the best luchador in the game right there. At that moment, he became the best luchador. And at that moment, I realized I jinxed him because he was injured only 10, 15 minutes later. But this match was good. It had drama. Orange Cassidy brought his A game, whatever that is, to be honest. But it had really good energy, and I was entertained all the way through. And then the end happened when Kip Sabian decides to look like a lifeguard on top of a ladder for no reason, and he gets shoved off, and hell breaks loose. And like, at least I think AEW needs to. I'm really worried for this ladder match because they can't catch shit. They couldn't catch a single person right. Everybody that dove this week got hurt. I mean, everybody. First, they didn't catch Ray Phoenix. It's 20 people standing right there. How did Ray Phoenix just go straight to the ground? You were on the phone with me, Eric, when this happened, and I just went, oh. And you were like, what happened? And I was like, I don't think they caught Ray Phoenix right there. And then, I believe, I don't remember the order or who dove
Cole Cabana didn't got missed.
Cole Cabana jumps, he gets missed. I think Scorpio Sky jumped or Trent, and he kicked somebody in the head. And I was like, how bad are they at kicking people? And now Ray Phoenix is out of this ladder match, and he's replaced by the bad boy, Joey Janela.
And then, Marcus, as I go to Manny, don't forget that Orange Cassidy did a dive, and his leg looks like his joint of his knee hit the barricade that Cody Rhodes paid all that money for in that situation. Manny, was it a cluster for you? Because I know you're a hard AEW critic, but you can admit that this match was entertaining.
No. So, like, the match was really good. Like, for a style that I don't really like give much credit to, because I don't really like lucha and flipping and all that and that much anymore. Ray Phoenix's offense actually looks like it hurts, whereas like when you compare it to like a Will Ospreay, where it's a load of flips going into stuff where it doesn't look like it actually hurts. Ray Phoenix did a lot of better job of making it sell it, doing a lot more with what he had. And then obviously Orange Cassidy always, like, I don't like the character Orange Cassidy, but the guy is a phenomenal wrestler.
That is true. I mean, and what I say what makes him even a better wrestler, he has the one thing that Daniel Bryan has. His body bruises easily. So when they took a zoom in shot of his chest, that shit was bloody as stuff from them chops that Ray Phoenix was fucking him up.
Kicking the shit out of him.
I was like, wow.
And then the stuff at the end didn't need to happen. Well, if it needed to happen, do it in an environment where it's safe. There wasn't even enough room for you to physically land properly. And it was just like, these are so many unnecessary spots when you're going to have a ladder match in a couple of days, which is also a dangerous match.
I think for me, it's like you could have went with Ray Phoenix winning. I don't think you needed that distraction of having Sabian, who really has not that much interaction with the best friends as it is, on top of the ladder looking down upon him. I mean, like it was so unnecessary. Then SCU came out. We get that they're in this match, and we get that the match can give them, it's their version of the Money in the Bank match. We know what this match does. We don't need to be beat over the head that this is that. Marcus, you look like you have something to say.
Is there stuff you're cutting out of the show, or you have a particular order you want to do this in?
Mark, I'm going to order because you know what's left, baby. You know what's left. It's 2 segments left.
Yeah, I was curious if you're gonna. No, it's like 3.
It's the 2 titles and what?
The 2 titles.
Yeah, the TNT Championship. That's how I grouped that one segment in, and then the AEW Championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's only 2 segments.
I thought we were missing the start of the show.
No. Because
the show started with 10.
I feel like I need to end with my TNT Championship because I feel like that's where I have the most frustration with the whole AEW product. So,
did you care about Marco Stunt getting beat up by MJF?
No, not whatsoever. Didn't care when the contract was signed. Didn't care when he said he was making that match. I mean, I guess he looked good in the match. I don't know. It's Marco Stunt.
Just silence.
I thought, Betty, you put the finger up. I thought you was about to pontificate about something. No.
Marco Stunt. When I first started watching AEW when it was beginning, anytime I saw Marco Stunt, I immediately did not want to watch the rest of the show.
I agree. So, speaking of something that I just don't care about, and it's now time. The show starts off.
What about Sean Spears?
Oh, the SSN Network. That was funny, but the fact that you can just challenge Dustin Rhodes to a match and you get put on the card. bothers me.
It was like seconds later.
But
No, didn't JR book it?
no,
Yeah. No, JR was like, no. So
JR
what happened was he does the update and he says, oh, he's retired, and I challenge him to a match. And so JR starts going over the car and goes, what the hell? I guess they just booked that shit. He just goes, what the hell? I guess they booked it. It was the first match they showed, Dustin versus Shawn Spears. I guess Dustin accepted at some point between this video, but hell, I guess he accepted.
like, so I don't know if AEW was making fun of themselves about how their matches get booked, or they just overlooked it and just decided just to book this match. But I thought the SSN network was actually solid. I mean, Shawn Spears has done better outside of the ring than in the ring for me. Like his gambling segments, him searching for a tag team partner, and now he has his own little network. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. It's different. I still can't believe that one person says that because AEW has better ratings that they're the best, because this was not the best. It simply wasn't the best. For
the best.
Manny,
So I sent you a picture earlier in the week of a WCW coloring book.
Yes.
But clearly that's how AEW ended this week.
It did.
I thought it was every week.
You have whatever faction on top. And for me, when it comes to your show and your pay-per-view, your world champion should be the highlight of the night. And I get Jericho is where the money's at, but maybe, well, I guess you couldn't put the Moxley and the Dark Order segment at the end because it just was bad. This whole segment was bad. I mean, we have the Dark Order come out to the ring. They still have the title. Marcus boy Luke Harper is speaking about what he's trying to do.
My boy Luke Harper, okay? Get this right. My boy is Luke Harper, not Mr. Brody Lee. Well, you know, I still like the guy. It's just... You don't need to be associated with this shit. You're better than this. You're better than this, Luke. We know who you are.
Manny apparently is 7. I didn't know he was 7.
Well, we write shit on our head.
I just felt like
it just looks like
I don't know what that sound was.
It didn't show up.
Did you just get feedback?
I got
feedback.
Hello?
It was Mr. Feedback that was there. Marcus, are you still there?
Hello?
I can hear Marcus. We can hear you, Marcus.
I can hear you guys.
I think your earphones died.
What?
Yeah, I think but can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
But
Okay.
Well, first maybe we shouldn't talk about the Dark Order like that. You guys are making yourself 7 and 8. I don't know what was going on. Just saying. So
I thought we were talking about penis sizes.
You're getting us cancelled on.
Well, we don't have no viewers, so it don't matter anyway.
Woo! Thank God.
So did you like Brody Lee's promo of him being lions and doing what he's doing for the desire? Like, have they just jumped the shark when it comes to the whole Dark Order segment that they had, Marcus?
I feel like they're all over the place. They don't honestly know where it's going next. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are still missing and have not shown their allegiances. I just have no interest in this feud with him and Moxley. None. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just not working for me. From the word jump, when it first started, I go, huh? And then to 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, whatever it's been, I'm still like, whatever. I have more juice between him and Jackie Swagger than I have with Luke Harper.
And Manny, does this have the potential to be the greatest wrestling match ever?
Oh, shit.
It really doesn't. But I want to throw a question to you.
Oh.
Was Vince McMahon, after seeing all these Brody Lee promos and stuff, I don't know if it's the writers or anything, but was Vince McMahon right to not book him and then eventually let him go?
I thought so. I mean, I know Marcus is a big proponent of, Luke Harper, Brody Lee, or whatever his name is, being a good individual athlete and being a good ring performer. And I get he's a very good in-ring performer. I just don't know what you can really do with him outside of him being a henchman to somebody. Marcus, you being a fan of Brody Lee, is there a way that they can book him to be better?
I feel like if he just separated him from the Dark Order, and give him something to work with. I feel there's a combination of both sides being wrong. WWE being wrong of not trying to use Luke Harper in other ways and being stuck as just a henchman. Maybe he could be a leader, and I don't mind him being a leader of a faction. I don't mind it. Like, he's not horribly bad on the microphone. He's good. He's solid. He looks comfortable. The problem is that what he's involved in isn't, like, clicking. It's just not working. And he just needs to find what works for him. If he was just, I'm Brody Lee, I'm going to kick your ass as some kind of badass in the faction, and this is who we are, I feel like that would work better.
I think for me, another thing that would help him out if his cronies weren't putties. Like, and I know bringing up the Power Rangers might date myself more and more, but he's really Rita in this situation. Like, his
Power Rangers on season 27 right now.
His number goons don't provide anything for him. And clearly, when Jon Moxley defeated 10, it was like, why? Why did we even have this match? And then at the end of it, Jon Moxley still didn't even get his title back. And it's like, it is no reason. Like, we introduced 10, who was the probably the best looking of the crew of putties, and the next thing you know, his arm is broke because Brody Lee ain't go bring the title back to him. Can
I chime in and say 10 was one of the top 10 best wrestlers on their roster? I feel like he brought it with his wrestling ability. That he could no longer be 10. He's stuck as just 10. He got to come out of that.
For all we know, that could have been Mark. That could have been a Blade with a mask on. For we don't know who that was.
Nah, the Blade's not in that shape. I don't ever get a Blade that much shape. Then the Blade and the Butcher were sitting on the sidelines. But he had a V-trigger and a cutter, which I feel like he should never have gotten in. Like, those look like finishing moves, and they did nothing.
So, that was that. I'm not.
He broke his arm.
Yeah.
Brody wouldn't save him.
Who cares? We know that they're expendable. I mean, we knew this about it. Where is Evil Uno and Stu Grayson? They started this shit. Like,
it's the motherfucking thanks they get. Hello.
Shit. I mean, I will point out, I never thought I'd see this day. When we didn't know who the Exalted One was, I could tolerate them more. But now that I see the Exalted One is at the same level of Megatron in that one Transformer movie where he forgot who he was and was walking in the desert with his head wrapped up, you're fucking Megatron. You need to remember that you a boss. You ain't no damn low level person. Who
are you talking about? Uno?
No, Brody Lee.
He is the boss.
No, he not. He out there doing too much grunt work. He doing stuff that you ain't supposed to get your hands dirty.
He didn't do a damn thing this week. His hands were not dirty. In fact, I'm sure they were clean. I'm sure he had clean hands this week. He's carrying around that title that he's playing with his head.
But you know who had the cleanest hand this week, Marcus? Two individuals who could not even show up for motherfucking work today. Because they're in the first ever TNT Championship match. And there was a tournament for this. And they won their brackets without any controversy. There was no Group A, Group B nonsense that took place in WWE. We knew who the participants would be for this TNT Championship. It would be Cody Rhodes going for the only title he can go for in AEW that's not a tag team title, going against the Murder Hawk. And what did we get? Did we get a stare off between the Murder Hawk and Cody Rhodes? No. Did we get a video package of the Murder Hawk and Cody Rhodes? No. Did we even get an update of Brandy and what happened to her after she had a snake crawl against her body? No, we did not. But what we did get, and this is what I like to call the legendary contract signing for
contract.
Marcus, it was a table in the ring. For unexplained,
I'm ad-libbing like the rap music video. Let's go. I'm just gonna say some shit.
For unexplainable reasons, we had a segment. Apparently, according to the announcers, people have wanted this for years. It was Jake the Snake Roberts on one side of the ring, on the other side of the table, with Arn Anderson, who told Big E that, you big baby. And they just started talking about shit that I did not care about, and Cody and the Murder Hawk never showed up. Marcus, speak on this, man.
No, I don't think I would. No. Oh, so I feel like this was two old men at a barbershop arguing about whose grandson, or if Muhammad Ali can beat up Mike Tyson, or if they're playing checkers and they get into some old school argument about who ran the numbers. And it's like, no, it wasn't Big Mouth Fred. It was Tony the Tiger that ran the numbers. It was
Tony
two old
Tiger.
dudes.
It's great.
It was two old dudes. Yeah, it was great. It was two old dudes sitting there talking. And it starts off with them going, with Jake going, people wanted us to lock horns for a long time. I don't think I've ever asked for that.
I never asked for Jake versus
Joe
Hart.
I think I saw both of them about close to their prime. I never said, damn, Jake Roberts and Art Anderson, I need that. But, so they get together with their social distancing table, and the referee in there, they're talking this shit back and forth, and I'm just waiting for someone to come out and attack Arn, or vice versa. Or a Brandy attack. I was waiting for something, but they're just going back and forth, and I can care less. I don't want to hear from these guys' managers. This is like hearing Bobby the Brain Eaton and Jimmy Hart talk about, oh, I can have Mr. Perfect be Brian Knobbs and the Nasty Boys. I do not care. I do not care. I do not need this. It just happened. The only part I really enjoyed was Jake flipping the table. That's it. Because I thought the table had to be flipped. If the table wasn't flipped, the whole thing would have been a waste. I didn't need to see them lock up. I don't need you to tease me that they're going to actually fight or do anything. I don't even want Jake taking a spine buster bump. I don't want Arn Anderson to do anything. I don't even need them at ringside. Just give me Cody, give me the Murder Hawk, but the number one thing that angers me, I had more, but the number one thing that angers me is that Cody Rhodes, I feel like, is a gem on the microphone. He can talk. He can sell you. He can put asses in your seats. And that's what he does. And the fact that they took the ball out of his hand, this is like fourth quarter, Tom Brady has the ball, time's going away, and they go, no, I'm going to put it in the backup. This is ridiculous. This is outrageous. This is a catastrophe. I'm really upset. If WWE decided to go, I'm going to put Paul Heyman and Lana in the ring together to talk about Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, I feel like it'd be the biggest waste of time ever.
Brother, calm down, Marcus. Calm down. I want you to take a break because you've been talking.
I can't hear shit. I don't know what's going on with my earbuds.
Well, Marcus, take a break.
I can't hear.
We're gonna let Manny speak on this a little. Manny, chime in because Marcus just gave a whole soliloquy about his frustrations.
So to talk about this, I've had to put on a Hall of Fame ring because that's how Jake the Snake does it.
Marcus always talks about me because I said that ring is like so prominent that it's a WWE ring that I see the WWE logo every time he talks.
What Marcus seemed to leave out was the fact that both of them brought up having a fight with Mike Tyson. And how Jake the Snake could actually take out Mike Tyson, but he's going to leave it for the Murder Hawk because he promised the Murder Hawk to do it. If I watched the video correctly, if Mike Tyson hit Jake the Snake, he'd hit Jake the Snake back into addiction.
Wow. But that's a good point. That's a good point.
He'll put Jeff Hardy back into addiction. That's how hard he is.
But
just so he'd kill him. He'd die.
Thing is, for now, I'm not even interested in the Cody and the Murder Hawk fight. I want to watch these two fight. with either these two and Mike Tyson in a three-way fight, or Mike Tyson as a special referee. I need that to happen.
I like that you want they reverse sold you or something. Like, oh, we put Mike Tyson special guest referee against Jake the Snake and Art Anderson. I gotta see it because I don't think both men will survive the match.
I'm telling you now, if there was another Saudi show, you telling me you wouldn't want to see this?
Oh, in Saudi, yeah, they get what they want. As a businessman, Saudi always gets what they want.
I just think that this match, to have it conclude with head coaches, and like to think about the whole head coach idea in AEW is ridiculous because there's only two factions that have head coaches, and that is Cody's faction, who has Arn Anderson, and then apparently it's the Murder Hawk. And it's like there is no place in the company for head coaches yet. It's not like New Japan where you have your different clubs. Like you have the Bullet Club, you have Chaos, you have everybody else. It's just Cody has the Nightmare family, and he was too busy to come speak on it. Like you could have did everything that they did in a video package, and we know they know how to make video packages. Instead of having these two old men go down to the ring and like literally, you see Arn Anderson hold the microphone and it's rested on his stomach because it's like his arm was tired. And I'm like,
oh, and you had Jake call him thick. How did I leave that out? You're looking a little bit thick.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean,
spectacle. But my theory behind this show of not putting on, I feel like a proper go home show. My feeling was because they already had that Friday show they put out with the video package to all their matches of what's going to happen, and they already have that done. So therefore, they can't have new footage. So that's what I feel like happened here.
But if you're relying on that to sell a show rather than this, because not a lot of people will probably watch that. Most of that audience will be watching Dynamite, and then that's it, unless you're banking on either it appears on YouTube like they've done in the past and other things. But if you're really selling the show, I feel like they've not succeeded this week.
Well, this week I was sold more on Backlash and NXT in your house more than I feel like I was sold on AEW, and those things are 2 weeks away. And I never say that about a WWE event because normally they're thrown together at the last week. And you're like, I guess John Morrison is fighting Fandango at this pay-per-view. But it's this week,
But I think our opponents would say that we are all quite WWE biased, though, in this situation that we...
Yeah, throwing up the W.
But that we don't give AEW a fair chance. But I just don't understand how... You have a new championship that is starting off in your company, and the participants can't even be on camera. I just like the fact that Jake and Arn Anderson and like I get Jake. I understand Jake. Jake is fine because Jake does what he does well. But Arn Anderson is just he was never the guy to deliver the promos.
He did good promos. I like Arn promos back in the day.
Back in the day.
I take Arn serious. He wasn't he was a difference between Ric Flair would just talk about bullshit. Arn would talk about what needed to be talked about and tell you on the show. I appreciate Arn. I just don't need Arn in 2020 trying to sell me on Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes can sell me on Cody Rhodes.
Thing is, after the New Day podcast, I can't take on Anderson seriously anymore.
That's all I hear.
How can you do it? How can you run around like a 300-pound baby?
That's all I hear. And when he first started talking about Jake, that's the first thing that came about. My head was like, "How you gonna run around like a big 300-pound baby?" Like, and that's what I heard. And unfortunately, that was like the worst thing about the entire situation. And I just said, like, the fact that Cody and the Murder Hawk didn't go to work just made me upset. Then the fact that so many people got hurt made me even more upset. It's just...
know what my number one fear for this show is going to be? That's going to be too long. It seems like it's a long card. Like, because even after Britt Baker got hurt, they decided to substitute Britt Baker with Penelope Ford against Statlander instead. And I'm like, does that match even need to be on the card? Does that match need to be on the card? Does I think they had like two, Dustin and Spears doesn't need to be there. I feel like they're overstacking this card. When the Money in the Bank pay-per-view was there 2 hours and some change, I feel like that was right enough time for an empty arena show. I feel like this is going to go like 4 or 5 hours, plus their buy-in show.
Do we even know how much this costs?
50, 60, 70? I don't know. Money. In a pandemic, I ain't got it.
Money. Yeah. With that
I got it. You know,
make that money.
Yeah. That
money. Yeah.
You guys, we've only went 3 minutes over, and we have only one email to go, so I think we might make it. Shout out to Wink World for actually being in our chat on the YouTube.
Wink World.
Are we not doing the card for Double or Nothing.
Because we kind of did it by mentioning when I was asking questions throughout the match. If you
Okay.
care, it was trying to be intermingled with that.
Oh,
So
who you got?
I guess the
Who you
question
got
is,
winning the TNT title?
who do you
Rich
have?
versus who you got winning? I got Cody losing to the Murder Hawk, and Mike Tyson dropping somebody.
I got Cody.
I
winning.
want Mike Tyson to drop Cody, and then and then the Murderhawk wins.
Yeah, I can see Cody losing, having a tantrum, and then Mike Tyson with the nice
then,
punch.
All I need is Mike Tyson to give me a chest cross chop again.
So Winkworld Marcus is actually Weston B.
I wasn't a no-show.
So shout out to Weston B. Moore, day one, man. You know what? Since we got all this worked out, next week you can come in and you can talk about the results of AEW, whatever the show. You could be a guest on the show if you have free time. You can join on the next live stream. Thanks, Wes. Should I read the last email, people?
No, who you got for you got Brody Lee winning?
Brody Moxley.
Okay, I got Moxley with it too.
Moxley's definitely going to win, I think.
And I think those are who got winning a ladder match. These are the only 3 matches that really actually matter about who wins and losses.
Who's in the ladder match though?
You got like
I don't think
Sky and some people.
I don't actually. The people that were listed, I don't think there's many that you would want to be holding a Money in the Bank or what they're calling a casino chip for a title match.
Well, the winner fights the champion on Dynamite on Wednesday. I believe that's what I heard.
Because you've got Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and then they added Joey Janela, and then someone that's to be determined. So there's probably, I'm thinking Sting.
Oh,
in a ladder match.
I mean, I think for me, at the end of the day, I think the person that's going to probably win will probably be somebody from SCU. I mean, I think because that's one of the things that has happened, that they have been building up Scorpio Sky, and it does give Scorpio Sky the ability to, how do I say, transition to move away from everybody else in his faction.
I'm going with Darby Allin for 500.
Darby Allin.
He had a video package this week. Maybe the mystery person's packed. Maybe he feels a way to get over here. Since he was stuck in his mother's basement this week in that promo.
I forgot that the Death Triangle was a thing.
Yeah, it started at the wrong time.
I thought
maybe it's Pentagon. Maybe that's the person to be named later.
Well, no,
because,
he's staying in Mexico City to avoid the virus.
Ray Phoenix showed up.
But he doesn't live in Mexico City. They're brothers, but they don't stay in the same area, Marcus.
I don't know. I don't know anything about their life, man. Let them live their life.
I actually lied. We actually have 2 emails because I forgot I changed the password when I was paying for the service. Yeah, it just get all complicated. Needless to say, our first email comes from Chris. So when are the Sharpshooters going after the 6-man tag belts? When are we going for the titles, y'all? Who got the trios title? Who's the champions? You guys know?
I'm a bit out of shape. I've officially retired from in-ring competition.
you bitch ass motherfucker.
No, the real question of that would be who would be the first person to turn.
Marcus.
It would also be me.
It'd be Marcus.
Like, you announced that retirement, you guys are going for the tag team titles. And my bitterness that you guys succeeded to get to the tag team title shot will force me to come out of retirement to come hit you guys and cost you the match. I'm coming at you with shares. I'm going to be the Lana in this storyline.
Do you know how many times when Marcus wasn't feeling well and he didn't want to record that show, and I'd be like, well, I could go find somebody else to record the show with, or I could do more. He's like, no, I will be there. It's like he can't let other people shine.
Because of that. It's not because of that.
He can't let other people shine.
I just don't miss shows, man.
Going back to the email, he says, Manny, you're not wrong. I should create a blog with my interactions with crazy folk. I'm just lazy as hell. I didn't smell her funk. She did mention that she burns sage to get rid of toxins and smells. The lift lady did mention that everyone should use. One of my favorite interactions with the crazy happened a few years ago. I was working the graveyard shift and walking to work. Walking the opposite route, was a lady dressed as a hippie and carrying a walking stick. She had a big purse with her. She stopped to ask how I was doing, and I told her her name was Princess Sunshine. I told her I was just on my way to work. Then she lays down all her stuff and said, "I'll walk with you."
Oh man.
What about? He says, "What about your stuff?" Sunshine tells me everyone knows better than to mess with her stuff. So we proceed to go on our journey to work. Now then, I've told that I need to take my mom to some forest in Canada. I asked her why. Sunshine says there's a gift she left for her there, and once my mom sees it, she'll just know it's from her. I'm quite sure my mom has never had any interaction with this lady, and it would probably be as terrified as her as I was that night. She goes on to tell me that her parents don't get along with her much, and she's been killed by her mom on multiple occasions, but she still goes visit them a couple of times a month.
Wait, she was killed?
Yes, she's been killed. She's been killed by her mom a couple of times, but she still goes and visits them. And then she says, once we safely arrive at my place of employment, she tells me to have a good night. I have since had several talks with her, but it's been about a year since I've seen her. I hope to see her again. Oh, I'm not afraid.
Mom got her one last time.
I'm not afraid of those pricks at work being informed I was mentioning for the others. Hey, Gary, Matthew, and Stuart at Giant, you could all F yourselves. I hope wrestling.
Yay!
Wow.
Go fuck yourself.
I hope wrestling gets back to normal someday. I need my NXT back, but I'm not watching until What's Her Face's go. We all know who What's Her Face is, and that is Charlotte in that situation.
Come on, Charlotte.
Can I say though?
Don't talk like that, ref.
I understand.
Stop it now, Charlotte. Don't do that, Charlotte.
Come on, Charlotte. No more. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Charlotte.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Chris, for sending your email. In the middle of
the night worried about what Charlotte doing on the ropes.
I know how you feel when you get used to some of the crazies, for no lack of better term, that you run into sometimes, and then you start wondering about where their whereabouts are and how they are doing in their life, in their time. So
I miss all my crazies, man. You know, in the casino, I miss them.
You'll be seeing them soon, Marcus.
I don't know, man. They may not be the same. They were already crazy.
Marcus, they're gonna be the same.
The dude that jacked off in the urinal, I don't know what he's doing right now because he don't have a urinal to jerk off in.
Marcus, like I said, this is a sad.
That's the last crazy I saw.
Mark, this is a sad time for side chicks and for crazy people who do things for attention, because everybody's inside and no one can get out. Just saying. Manny, have you ever had a crazy person that you're worried about right now that you don't really know, but you met them a couple of times and you'd be like, I wonder what happened to them?
Yeah, being a manager of a supermarket, you do meet quite a lot of crazies. A lot of them trying to steal. And when you work in the same area where the supermarket where you work, and you're the manager of, you worry about how much attention you give to them. Because if you call them out for stealing and you live in the same area, if they see you, you're gonna get stabbed.
now, Manny, I have a question for you, because I never knew. How did you become the man that people want to speak to?
I don't even know. So like, I even now when people ask me how did you end up in HR, when I'm more of a HR risk than anything, it's knowing the right people and then them getting you to places. But like, because when I came out of university, the whole idea was to get a job in a lab, not work my way up from grocery boy all the way up to manager.
Like, because I mean, you were the biomedic that's epidemic or something like that, but now, so you're a manager of a grocery store chain, but in the HR department.
No. So I've left that job now. Now I work in local government in HR.
Oh shit, man! Now he's part of the government. Marcus, I gotta stay away from him. He gonna have somebody.
You and Boris Johnson, huh?
Marcus, what about you? What crazies are you missing right now?
Well, like I said, the guy that jerked off in the urinal. People tell me how they're bad beat stories in the casino, but it's the 20th time they've told me in an hour. The old ladies who's trying to give me bad luck by touching my right shoulder.
Oh man, I didn't know about that,
Shit.
Manny. We saw that lady at the casino in Vegas, and I didn't. You could tell the tension between her and Marcus. And
No, this was a different one. This was there was the bus lady who I've known for like 15 years who joined me at every casino I've ever ventured at. And she's the one that touched me on my shoulder. But the other one was out on the tiles table, which made me not even want to gamble anymore because she was there. That's how much I disliked her.
Marcus,
and you could tell that we just had to say something to each other because we know who each other are. And, you know, there's an interaction there of like a fakeness that no one can hide. It was a thin line of fakeness of, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. You still at that casino? No, I'm at a different one now. You still at that casino? No. Well, I'm done here.
There's a thin line between love and hate. As I smell the sweet potato pies make their way upstairs.
Her husband is nice though. Tom is the best. Shout out to Tom, who nobody knows. He's still alive.
Our last email comes from the Diz Man. It's the guy who can buy, trade, and sell. In fact, this guy can sell water to a well. Oh, look at Manny with the book.
Look at that. With the merch. That's good advertisement. You gotta lift it up more. You gotta put the name. You got to buy. You're missing the dime.
So that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when it comes from Amazon. All right, that's cool. The guy who is cooler than a rotating fan is the sharpiest of sharpies, the Diz Man. What's really good, Sharpies? What's really good? To begin our time together, I wanted to talk about AEW. I believe one of you said that you didn't get AEW or what it's trying to be. 1 minute they say they're sport, the next minute they're doing crazy stuff like Broken Matt. To me, AEW is like the cartoon Ultimate Muscle. Competitors from all over creation come to the AEW to be crowned the best wrestler, all from all over creation. Can be anywhere. You can be from...
I like the Ultimate Muscle.
You could be from Atlanta, Georgia, Tokyo, Japan, the Andromeda Galaxy, or your vessel can inhabit a spirit from centuries ago. The reason I don't have a problem with it is because wrestling has always done stuff like this. Where was the Ultimate Warrior from? Parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
What's the story behind the Great Muta? From back in the day, the missing link destroyed all kinds of opponents. And what's the story with The Undertaker? He's a dead man with special powers. Wrestling has always been a cartoon. AEW just embraces it more. What do you guys think? Before we answer this question, Marcus and Manny, I'll start with Manny first. Have you been watching the Undertaker documentary? And if so, have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's a good documentary. Like this is basically as a wrestling fan, this is your last dance, and it's a really good documentary. But it's also quite sad at the same time. Like this is your child. This is essentially our childhood. Because like since I've grown up in wrestling, Undertaker's always been there, and now you're watching him get old.
It's kind of sad, huh?
And it's interesting to see, like, do you know the promos Edge and Orton were having back and forth, where he was a junkie for the pop. That's what Undertaker is.
Pretty
Like
much.
it all applies to Undertaker. When you watch this documentary, it all applies to Undertaker.
And Marcus, is the Undertaker snitching like Michael Jordan?
Oh man, he's all over. He's not really snitching. The one thing you get is like his relationship with Vince and how Vince got all choked up when he was like, "Tell him how much Undertaker meant to you." Cut the damn camera. I was like, "Oh, I guess he got caught up." But and how close they've been over the years, and the one thing that it doesn't go into the past. It's only like these last 3 years or 4 years has been since he's declared that the Roman Reigns match was gonna be his last match, and how much he hates that match, and that he's trying to get that perfect match to go out on. But you learn a lot. It's really entertaining. I don't think it's Last Dance quality because you get Jordan's full life and career, and you get all these other characters in it. This is mostly just focused on Undertaker. You get just him going for that one last thrill, that one last hit into the orb, so he can enjoy that one perfect match. And like how last year's, or not last year, the one in New Orleans, the one we were at, he was prepared for a 45-minute match with John Cena. They told him, "You got 5 minutes." And he was ready to go. That was gonna be it. That was gonna be it.
He would have died if he did 45 though.
That's not what he said. He was ready. He was ready. He was ready to go.
I think
He was in the best shape of his life.
I think John could have carried him for 45 minutes. I really do.
I don't know. It'd been a long match.
You could at least got to 30. Could have got to 30.
I would hope for 20 or 15.
Now
I did learn something interesting from listening to an interview The Undertaker did when he was promoting this series. The length of his entrance was determined by his opponent. If he didn't think he could do good business with his opponent, or his opponent, or the match was going to be horrible, the entrance was longer because he was just going to long out the entrance, so the fans had something to enjoy.
This is great shit, because you always wonder, like, damn, this is a long... Like, you want to go back to all the long entrances he had. Well, he didn't like this guy enough.
I was like, you ain't shit. His entrance was 10 minutes.
King Kong Bundy, you ain't shit. So, back to the
best...
Oh.
Hold on. The best... I feel
You don't
like
tell me to hold on, brother.
I'll tell you, you've been promoting this all over the place. You shut up. You shut up, all right? I can see me in your glasses, all right? You shut up. I don't even know where I'm going with that. Undertaker's been motherfucker. Stick my dick. I'll show you a boot. I'll show you a boot.
I'll give you a Glasgow kiss.
Oh, no. Two touchy-feely guys. But,
it's a headbutt, Marcus. Oh, no, the Cobra.
I know Sal. I know Sal.
But I attacked Manny with the Cobra.
Call me the Fiend. I know Sal.
But anyway, what are you going to say so you can answer?
I was going to say, he's been promoting the hell out of this and doing a bunch of interviews. I feel like the best one of the interviews, because they're all captivating, was the Bill Simmons interview, because he's just like, because Bill Simmons is a huge wrestling fan, and he has so many questions about The Undertaker. And then he had a story to share with The Undertaker about the time that he was winning on blackjack, and he and his table was killing it, and he's drunk, and it's 4 a.m, and he's peeing, and The Undertaker walks in right behind him and pees next to him. And then he just screams, "Yep, winning on blackjack, pissing next to The Undertaker. This is the greatest night of my life." And then The Undertaker fairly turned at him and looked at him and was like, "All right then," and walked out. And Undertaker was said probably that night he was really drunk too at like 3 or 4 a.m, because apparently he plays a lot of blackjack and shit.
Marcus, can I ask a question? Like, you work at a casino, and now knowing that Mark Calloway plays a lot of blackjack, how would you react if Mark Calloway was in there playing? Because I think, Marcus, you would not know how to contain yourself.
I would freak out a little bit and just go to another section of the casino.
Would you turn off the light?
I would go to the table and be like, and my eyes would look, "It's The Undertaker!" I would literally
you would go full Teddy Long. The Undertaker.
Yeah, you're gonna deal blackjack today. You're gonna be on this table, yeah? Against who? The Undertaker.
I'm assuming, Marcus, you couldn't even interact with the man, huh?
Huh? No, I can interact with anybody in the casino, but it would be I wouldn't bother him. I would hate to see him in the casino environment, just like I would hate to see Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley in the casino environment, because I know they're gonna become the players I hate.
Oh.
And just annoy the shit. They'll end up annoying me and be like, I can't never look at y'all the same again.
So Manny,
Undertaker like this, you're cursing out a dealer for giving you 6C for the 20th time and saying that the game is rigged. Undertaker, you wrestle in rigged wrestling.
So Manny, let's say when you were the manager and they said someone wants to speak to the manager, how would you react if it was the Undertaker?
He goes full Karen?
Yeah, why not?
So you mean I've got to go 1-on-1 and cut a promo with The Undertaker while he yells at me for, I don't know, spilt milk?
This milk is spoiled. Well, you're dead.
I tell you what I do, Eric. I'd open up the till and go, "Here, take it all."
I ain't no fool. So back to it, because this was a very whimsical conversation. Do you guys agree?
I know this day would come.
Do you agree with Disman that AEW is taking a more whimsical approach to their television programming? Manny, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, they are, but then like the whole beginning of the way they structured how they wanted to portray this as proper competition and everything. you shouldn't be going the whimsical direction. Like the way they just structured it is like they weren't going to have characters or anything. They were just going to have solid wrestling where wins and losses count and everything. And you can't do that with characters.
You really
You
can't.
honestly can't do
a goddamn alien.
Yeah, you can't do that with characters. Like if you're gonna go that route, you have to take all the. You have to go the MMA route, and you have to go very serious. You can't just be like, oh, I'm an alien.
Yeah,
It's an alien.
It pretty much you can't have it both ways. You can't go the route of sports entertainment and also try to be a legit wrestling company because it just doesn't work. Mark,
Well, you know what WWE's doing? See, my thing is, I'm okay with whatever they do. Like, I'm okay with it. It's not that I have a problem with what they're doing. Like, I don't care if they don't go on with we're going to be the serious promotion. My problem is the stuff I don't enjoy it when they go. Like, I feel like they go too far. I feel like they take it's not as serious as it should be. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. They're all over the place.
Well, let me get back.
I feel like I think they think they're funnier than they are. I think that's the approach I am.
I think that's true. Yeah.
It's kind of like this show
It's like,
where we're our biggest fans.
Yeah, I'm my number one fan. I'm the number one person in this chat room other than Wes. He's gone probably.
Anyway, with that, let's go back to the Disman email. Something else you guys have to said that I've been thinking about is in that ADM said that they would be different. I believe they are. I think the difference is you are allowed to be great. What I mean by that is the fans decide who's going to make it, not the owner. I think of it as restaurants. We sell Chris Jericho and John Moxley's and Brody Lee, but we also sell Scorpio Skies and Luchasaurus and Murder Hawks. That's my take anyway. I don't have anything. I was speechless because I want to respond, but I don't know how to respond, so I'm just going to keep reading the email. Moving on.
You ain't going to give us a chance to respond?
Oh, you have a response to it. Marcus, I'll
go. I don't really have much.
Motherfucker, you just said you had a response.
I just like trolling. You just love everything quiet. My whole thing is...
So he does have a response. I'm so confused.
I thought of one when you said, "Hey, you don't have a response." I didn't have one originally, but in this time,
he stalled enough to get one.
Yeah, I actually you going on your little rant, and I'm still stalling to get all my thoughts together. Bang! I now have a response, like magic. Oh, my thing is, I felt like they haven't, even though these people are getting cheered, whether it's their Orange Cassidy's or your Luchasaurus stuff, I feel like they're not really doing anything with them other than keeping them in the mid card. The people who are on top are the people who been on top from the beginning. Your Jericho's, Cody's, and Floyd the Bat. That's all. That's the same people that's been on top. And I feel like no one's actually moved up. Scorpio Sky hasn't did anything. They did those video packages, and they haven't did anything with them ever since.
What's the name of your bat, Eric?
Philip.
Philip. I thought that was you, Philip. They said you didn't come here no more, but I was like, that's Phil.
I want to give it a name.
Huh?
I want to give it the name of the best name I've ever heard in my life. The Jets left tackle, the Brickashaw Ferguson.
the Brickashaw Ferguson is a very great name. Moving on.
Some parents deserve that extra, like, you did it. You fucking did it.
Moving on, and this kind of ties in with my previous question. Do you guys think that perception has become the most important thing in wrestling these days? It just seems like most of the complaints people have are based on how things look. I guess what I'm really asking is, why is wrestling the only form of entertainment that has to conform? I mean, what if Marco Stunt had a gimmick where he was the Tiny Titan, and despite his diminutive body, he could pull off impressive feats of strength, including body slam the Big Show? We separate our disbelief for comic books. Why doesn't wrestling get the same pass? Well, Disman, I think it goes down to AEW's billing of trying to be a more realistic approach at professional wrestling, trying to make things matter. And so you can't say you want to do it this way, but then you're still doing it the same way that's been done for years. Just, it was no reason for you to say that.
No, I feel like there's a combination of wrestling has always had this fact of there's the whole thing that this is a real fight. This is a real fight. That's what wrestling was built on for, I don't say the last, I don't know, forever until like the last 10 years or whatever, that these guys are really going to fight and try to kill each other.
Forever
And the genre doesn't decide that. But I feel like you could do that, in which, yeah, if you want to make Marco Stunt this Mighty Mouse character in which he could beat up like people like the Big Show or people 10 times bigger, you got to sell me that from the beginning. But when you just show him getting destroyed by somebody that's only a little bit taller than him, and he's getting dragged around like a rag doll, it's you can't really change it. Fucking Heath Slater.
Really, you give me Heath Slater? I'm upset by that. Fuck you.
Who you thought you were gonna be? Jimi Hendrix?
Man, I thought I could at least get Kyle O'Reilly, but shit, Heath Slater.
No, you get Heath.
Boop. Go ahead, Manny.
I don't think it's just the wrestling community that like this. Like, if you look at the Star Wars community, like, I'm not in the Star Wars community, but I think they're on the same level as like the way the wrestling community are.
That's just stupid.
It's just like, I think it's always going to be a case of, just because you don't like it as a fan, you have an opinion of how it should be.
Go ahead.
That's how it's going to always affect things. So it's just like, that's how you're always going to portray it. It's just like, I didn't like this, so therefore it should be like that.
So, Manny, how did you avoid the Star Wars community?
I just watch it. I don't talk about it.
Oh, there's a community. You can die in that community.
Oh,
yeah, it's just...
Because when you said you wasn't part, I thought maybe you had never seen the movies. Oh, okay, so you're just not part of the cult following.
Yeah. So I can watch a Star Wars film and like watch it for what it is, and then
live your life.
I'm about to put you on the spot right now. What is the best new Star Wars movie that they've made?
New
of the new ones. What was the best one?
The first one.
Which one is that?
Which one? Wait, what are you talking about the new? Are you talking about the prequels? Or are you talking about the latest trilogy?
The latest one.
Yeah,
the one that's been made.
Yeah, the first of the latest trilogy is probably the better of the latest trilogy.
I was gonna say any of Star Wars movies made in the last 20 years.
The first one we see Raiden.
Oh, okay.
Because he's going Force Awakens.
Marcus, what are you?
Because they turned Finn into a bitch into the last two, two ones. In the last one,
he was a straight up bitch in that one too. He was trying to get out of there. He was just trying to get out of there.
I will point out this is the most passionate argument you guys had all show.
All plan for 2 movies was to get the fuck out. Just like, these are white people problems. I'm getting out.
In The Rise of Skywalker, all he turned into was a hollering black man that screamed Rey. That's all he did. He had no lines in it. He just screamed Rey.
Yeah.
Marcus?
Yeah.
What is yours?
Oh, man, you gonna put me on the spot? Mine is the controversial one. I'm going with The Last Jedi. It's my favorite Star Wars movie of the last 3 of the new trilogy. Well, I feel like it was just different from the other ones, and the other ones just felt like it was just more like fan service. Although I enjoyed the Force Awakens, I hated The Rise of Skywalker. I just hate that movie so much. But as time passed more, I hate that movie even more.
Well, my favorite of the Star Wars movies, and I think it was the best of the bunch.
Oh, you're going 20 years though.
I'm going Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was a.
Rogue don't count.
It does count. It does count.
Skywalker saga.
No, Rogue One count, buddy.
That don't count.
It does. It is called Rogue One: A Star Wars Story.
I changed mine to Solo. Then how you like that shit?
Dude, you a goddamn fool. I ain't never seen Solo. I hear so many bad things about that movie.
You watch this last hour of Solo, you can enjoy it. I don't need like the first hour of Solo. It was just like, just wait till Lando shows up and then you get like an actual movie.
All right. So real quick, believe it or not, I was helping out with one of the youth groups at my church and we tossed axes before. Let me tell you, it's no easy task. Oh, and by the way, while I found Marcus' explanation of how Suge D got his name to be hilarious, here's the real reason. Well, part of it. I don't know the full story, but I do know that Mr. Suge used to have a basketball player gimmick where he was known as Sugar Dunkerton. I don't know where the pineapple stuff came from, though. Well, the pineapple stuff came from Jericho when he had the pineapple shirt. But, you know, I think being called Sugar Dick might be better than Sugar Dunkerton. I'm just saying. Finally, my last question for you guys has to do with bad guys. I simply want to know, how far is too far when it comes to being a bad guy? I mean, me personally, I don't really care how far bad guys go as long as they get what's coming to them. Chris Jericho could have called Suge D Gigolo Boo Jack, and for all I care, but if he catches a beatdown at the hands of, say, Private Party, it's all good to me. What do you guys think? Anyway, Sharpies, I'm going to go, but you guys take care. And remember, don't let your mind bully your body. Later, guys. I think it's limits that you have to go into this sensitive society in the world today that we live in. You can't really go around calling somebody Jigaboo Jack. Right, Jigaboo Jack, Marcus?
I remember the days when I was called Jigaboo Jack. Darkest days of my life.
Was that your early stripper career?
No. I was just hanging around.
Coming to the stage, Jigaboo Jack.
Jelly Belly's own. Present to you, Jigaboo Jack.
Woo.
Let's get the jig on, y'all.
Woo. Show me them tip, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Anyway, Marcus, go. Is that it? That's
what?
You was making a point and then you stopped.
You called me Jigaboo Jack. I don't know what my point was supposed to be. What was the question?
What do you think of how far is too far about bad guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like my bad guys bad.
I forgot the question. What kind of person is he?
He likes his bad guys bad like Penelope Ford.
I like my bad guys like Penelope Ford like her men.
Or he like his bad guys like he like his men, Everrise.
There's levels to bad guyism, right? Like Everrise is a heel team, and
they're not a heel team. They're just a heel team for you.
Just by existing, they're evil. Then you got your MJFs who is going out his way. I just feel like there's no real bad guys in the world of professional wrestling anymore. Everybody's trying to be the cool bad guy, and there's no such thing as a real bad guy anymore. Like Jake the Snake is a bad guy. What? Jake the Snake is the closest thing we get to a real bad guy. What is this shit?
Link is judging you right now, Marcus, because he doesn't understand why you just like Everrise. Uh-oh, be careful. Jordan about to snitch on us.
He snitched. Oh no, Jordan is watching me with all my cocaine and women. Jesus. Whose side are you on? Horace Grant or Michael Jordan?
I haven't got that far in the documentary.
You don't have to. It's in the papers.
I didn't read the papers, man.
Michael Jordan is calling Horace Grant a snitch because he said he was the source that was leaking out all the information. Horace Grant said he ain't no damn snitch. Michael Jordan's a snitch. You on TV talking about how your partners were doing cocaine and pulling people out of hotel rooms. You the damn snitch.
Got a point. So we went 36 minutes over the time that we allotted, but I think we all.
No one's watching.
I just wanted to add to Disman's question. I think it was Jericho that took it too far when he punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face.
Okay. Oh, that's what that feud was about. Me and Ryan put on a random wall this week, and Jericho's the champion, and he was being booed like violently by the crowd. And they never showed what he actually did, but he beat up Shawn Michaels for some reason, and they were really against him being world champion. And this is back around 2008, so I'm assuming that was around the time he punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face.
He punched his wife in the face, and then he threw him, and then messed up his eye. His already messed up eye in through. What was it called? The Jericon.
The Geritron.
The Geritron. 5,000 or whatever.
I thought it was a 3,000.
He changes it.
With that being said, I think we had a very successful show. I had a good time, but I need to get ready for the cookout that we have planned. And is your brother even there?
Yeah, he's been knocking on the door. I just been ignoring him.
Oh, because he's probably ready to go. So
no, he don't even know when we're going.
You can leave once I stop this recording, Marcus.
I know. I already told him earlier last night and stuff.
So with that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode 692 of the greatest wrestling match ever.
My prediction of Double or Nothing.
The greatest wrestling podcast I've ever.
The greatest one ever. Eric, you're in your prime at 40.
Okay. I have always been the Prime. Unfortunately.
Do you just go by the Prime? Is that just your name?
No.
The Prime.
My name is Eric. I told you my T-shirt would just be Eric.
The Prime.
No, it's just Eric.
You're like Optimus Prime.
Just Eric.
Just Eric.
Just Eric.
No,
Can't make no money at that.
Now, Manny, I noticed you're wearing the Villain Enterprise shirt. Are you watching the Villain on NWA?
Occasionally, I find it difficult to make time for NWA.
Marcus, do you still watch NWA?
Oh, it's not on. They're off.
They keep
Pandemic, Jack.
They keep putting stuff up talking about they give me different things to watch. Like I had the Eli Drake show.
And shit.
Huh?
The thing is, I don't watch it enough that I think everything I'm watching is new, and that's the problem.
Yeah, 'cause I thought they were still putting new stuff out. I didn't know they had stopped.
This ain't no new content. Well, I guess it's new content, but they're not really doing anything.
Well, I guess
kind of like what WWE's doing with the UK show. It's just like, check out this video of these people.
I'm just curious if we can get this done right because this is the end of the show. I want to thank.
I bet you the show didn't work.
I want to thank everybody who took the time to watch the show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, and subscribe and leave a comment. Manny, I don't know, man. I do audio podcasts.
So terrible at this.
Well, then you go and
How
do
about
it.
have Manny send us out? He has a more distinguished voice.
What?
People will come at us. They think we're coming at them for the money. Man,
you make me sound like I'm a con man.
like we're
no, you're not a con man.
We're some type of infomercial. Needless to say,
bloody man of the United Kingdom.
I'm Eric. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord. Oh, I'm Lord Manny Hayes. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, and there's.
Applause to you.
I think you were gonna say 4.
After I said like and subscribe, that's you.
That's you. You messed up again, Marcus.
You guys wanna put our minds together. Let's do this again. Let's try to find the rhythm, guys. Let's not do the AEW women's division and botch everything. Let's get this done. Go ahead.
Thank everybody for listening to episode 692. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes. Like and subscribe.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale. And tune in next week where we will do another edition of the greatest wrestling podcast ever.
Until that time, stay sharp.
Check out that ending though, Jack. Check out that motherfucking ending.
We killed that one.